Let's get busy.
Wave and, smile for the camera.
Okay.
All right, guys. Kevin Hale here for the latest shooting from the lip. It is episode 357. We've done, 357 of these things. On-site recording, Baxter's 942 here in the Highlands. It's Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018. 5 segments tonight. First up, some of my new friends. When I say friends, yeah, they are a lot of love here. A lot of love here. What is this again? Help me out.
What you've got there is one of our 4 flavors. We're Ballotin chocolate whiskey. We're based here in Louisville. Do have our bottling here as well. You have caramel turtle just on the rocks. So it's 60 proof whiskey, 2-year-old whiskey, all natural flavors. That's our caramel turtle flavor.
Yeah, you all are. We're going to get educated a little bit on this, but tonight, Jeff Stum, co-owner, Ballotin Chocolate Whiskey.
That's right.
Chocolate whiskey. It's a game changer to me. I had some of that at the Carolina at the AFM threads of it, and I was like, yummy.
What a cool gathering too. It's a cool place for us to showcase our whiskeys.
Also, possibly be bad.
Yeah, exactly. Also with us, Mr. Gary Fox.
Hi.
Not Dr. Gary Fox. Mr. Gary Fox.
Do not trust me with anything medical.
Yeah, if you want a prescription, I don't know. I mean, he probably could. I don't know if
Owner, how this goes.
Owner, president of Apron
Inc. Yes, sir.
Apron Inc. I want to know more about each of what Ballotin is and Apron Inc. is. Start with you, Jeff. I got the sample Ballotin. I was familiar with the name. Now, in my defense, I'm not a bourbon whiskey guy.
Okay, all right.
And I actually have always done it wrong, and I think that's why I wasn't a fan, because someone would put it in a shot glass and I'd shoot it.
Okay.
And then I started gagging, and it would burn. And then a buddy of mine was like, no, you sip it.
And there's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, don't shoot it. Sip it.
Yeah.
Let it taste it. Taste the bourbon. And then Caroline comes into my life, and that's another game changer in my life. And it's never been the same since. And has introduced me to to the actual drinks.
Okay.
Well, I've been familiar with Ballotin because, Jared Matthews, Lulu Diamond. He's got the shirt. It's got the
That's right.
name on it. And then, here we are. We got the
you got the full lineup, man.
How long is this? Give us the 411.
Yeah. So the brand itself, we launched kind of on the fly and really sort of as a test market. It will actually be 4 years this November. And when we launched incredibly soft. Got it out in Kentucky. We actually picked up a few accounts in South Carolina. And at the time, my business partner and I, Paul Toole, and I, we were doing a lot of consulting. We were trying to bring income in while allowing for the brand to get mature enough to where we could go full-time and hardcore after this. So for the first 2 years, we were in 2, 4, 5 states and really trickled it out. Now, fast forward really 2 years since we've been going after it, where it's our full-time gig. We're in 17 states. We're in states as far west as Arizona and Texas and Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Florida is a big market for us. We just did some big distributor changes and some really cool stuff in Illinois. So our core, though, is still right here in Kentucky, and we just ran some numbers. It looks like we'll finish up plus 50% versus last year. So we're even still finding audiences here, as witnessed by many of the people we engaged with the other night they've not heard of the brand.
So basically what you're saying is that you're not going to have to settle for the medium-sized jacuzzi. You're going to go big.
Here's the honest truth. It's going to be a good jacuzzi, or it's going to be a bathtub with hot water in it, and there's no in between.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's no, that's where we are in the lifespan of this. We've got a lot of work to do in within the next 2 years. And of course, we'd love for somebody to come in and take this thing on, see the brand proposition, the work we did on the brand itself, the brand name, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But the goal would be to sell it. Absolutely. I think that's every entrepreneur's dream at some point. But on the converse side of that, if for some reason 2 years from now we haven't, hit that home run, by then it should be a profitable enough business to where we can run it as a business. And we have other branding ideas in the spiritual realm as well.
Have you reached out to Mark Cuban yet?
I am scared to death of anything Shark Tanky,
really?
Anything like that. Now, we have actually raised some money with investors, but it's been on a hyper local and hyper angel level. And we've got some really good friends that have put some money against this, betting on us as much as the brand. But anything that's televised that can be used against you, including this, and especially with the
They're on to me.
and especially with a group of people that are relying on ratings and
Blank-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah, thank you. Let's drink a couple of these before we get to that. Really relatively early stage entrepreneur and a brand proposition that seems to be working, but we've got a long way to go.
Yeah,
and this is our hometown, and we need for people to understand what we're doing, celebrate what we're doing, hopefully become a brand fan. And what you're saying, I mean, we made this brand specifically for people that do not have a big bourbon palate. Now, that being said, our ingredients are all natural. We have a high quality product. It's line priced with Jack Honey and the Crown flavors. So, $24.99-ish at retail. It's not a less than product, but it's some of our friends have called us the gateway drug to the bourbon category. And you know what? As a Kentucky guy,
this is a
all
step.
of that.
This is that in between.
It really is.
Because when it comes to alcohol, I'm not very tough. I'm like, my beer is Bud Light, Mick Ultra, that kind of thing.
I'm with you.
And then so my friends who are just diehard bourbon guys, when one of them who saw the post, and they're like, "What's that all about?" And I'm telling him, and he's like, "That's not bourbon."
And that's right.
I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Right now.
You hit the
He needs to come here.
Bring him on.
Okay, can you please come?
Of course, she announces her presence.
We want this gentleman to come to Baxter's right now to taste the whiskey.
Or eventually.
Or eventually,
Yeah.
yes.
So, but we got to do that.
A little bit about palate and a little bit about just whiskey in particular, and bourbon specifically. We live in this awesome place in the world where bourbon has been prevalent since we were all very young. And some people just never get there with a bourbon palate. But if you remove yourself from this geography right here, there's still an immense amount of mystery about what even bourbon is, and exactly what you just said. You do it to get it over with, unless you really understand the beautiful nuances inherent in any bourbon that's aged differently or single barrel versus regular. The sweet notes that we pronounced in our flavors, chocolate here, vanilla actually is very forward in our bourbon ball flavor, and even mint is in what we could refer to as the bourbon flavor wheel, the sweet components. But what you're drinking right there, the caramel turtle,
it's just the four flavors, right?
It's just the four flavors. Those are the notes that you pick up in any given bourbon, anytime you sip on the bourbon. So we just pronounce them a little bit. Like, in fact, at home, I'll drink Old Forester on the rocks and put a little topper from time to time with our bourbon ball on there. To me, that's an exceptional drink. And
this isn't the same as like back in the day, when I was drinking the Zima and I put the Jolly Rancher in there. This takes it. I mean, that's. I thought I was badass then, but
you were.
I was.
At that point in time, you were kicking it, man. Kicking it hard.
You're too kind. You just want to just bury me right now.
But Gary can back me up on this.
I was just going to say, I can tell you from working in restaurants that people are beginning to do exactly that. They'll ask for a splash of the chocolate mint or the caramel or whatever in their drink, or they'll ask for an old fashioned, but with one of these instead. It's becoming very popular, at least here in Louisville, at least amongst the independent restaurants I know, because that's where I frequent. but you're doing a good job of getting the word out. I know how hard it is to get word out.
You do, don't you? Yes. From multiple facets of your life,
Exactly.
especially with Apron.
Exactly.
And that's why this partnership makes a lot of sense.
Nice segue. Apron Inc. Let's hear about that.
Apron Inc. Apron Inc. is a not-for-profit here in Louisville. We provide emergency financial funds to employees in the independent restaurant community.
Okay.
No corporate restaurants whatsoever, just independent restaurants. We act as a safety net. So when someone,
It's interesting. I never heard of that, but yeah, that makes sense.
as I said, it's hard to get the word out. We've been around for 7.5 years. In that 7.5 years, we've been able to give out over $200,000. We've helped almost 200 people. We work every day to get the word out. Just today, I wrote a check for a young family. Broke my heart. Their son was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and they're having to go to Cleveland. So we're able to pay their rent for a couple of months because they're not going to be in town, and he's not going to be able to work at it. He's a bartender here in town.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to work at his job.
So you stay true to that, to the food bar industry, people.
The independent food bar industry.
Right, yeah.
Once again, I had someone ask recently for a grant, but they worked at a corporate restaurant, and we have to say no. It's not just me that says no. I have a grant committee that I send it to, so I'm not the bad guy. Hopefully,
But it's
your
who
mission's
you
your
are.
mission.
Right, exactly.
Your mission is your mission.
Right.
Our mission is our mission,
It's what
exactly.
you are and who you are.
We
But
cannot-
yeah, so you're not deviating from it. You're not.
Right.
You're not, and you're not being a bad guy about that. It's
Exactly.
how-
Mission purity is important, especially with
Exactly.
this, and especially given the fact that it's been around for a long time. They're still building awareness, but there are an awful lot of people who are aware that contribute money. But when you're talking about something that catastrophic, it's the little things that matter the most to people who need the money the worst.
and Ballotin has been such a wonderful partner to us since they started. I mean, it was like, boom. What's Ballotin?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. And then we've just been going on since then. You've really helped so
So
much.
7 years, over
Yes.
7 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it all started with a gentleman who had been a chef here in town, and he, I forget exactly what happened, car accident, something. We did a fundraiser for him because he had no money. And a bunch of community people, not only restaurant people, but there was a lawyer involved and a couple corporate people. They said, we all said, well, why isn't there something for independent restaurants like there is for a lot of the corporations? They have a built-in not-for-profit from that corporation to help people. So we thought, oh, well, maybe we can try something. You know, we had no name, we had no real idea. I brought it to my boss at the time, Dean Corbett, and he immediately said, we've been trying to do that for the longest time.
That just passed.
Yeah, he just passed last week. But he said, we've been trying to do something like that for a long time, but nobody will take the reins. He said, what can I do? And I said, well, we need to incorporate. Maybe we can do a little fundraiser for us. And he wrote a check out. He wrote the check out for incorporation, and we started, and we've been going real well since then.
Right. The music scene, local music scene, has those types of.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's
We're based on Murph.
Murph. Okay. Is that kind of how you're?
Do you know Luca Bianconcini?
Yeah.
Oh, but he's on my board. He's one of the founding
You know who I
members.
call him? You'll let. He is in the music scene to me, the James Bond. He's got that debonair look. I
can see
that.
He loves it. He'll answer. I'm like,
See that.
I love him. He's a great guy.
He was one of our founding members, and he said, Murph does this, we can do it too.
Yeah.
So
there you
that's
go.
what we're based on.
And it is solely for the food
service
Food service.
Yeah, independent.
Yeah, if it's just a bar, we haven't had just somebody from just a bar apply.
Right.
I don't know if we would actually help someone from just a bar, but if it was a bar that served
Like food and drink or whatever.
then
yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
I mean, we've helped people from Saints, we've helped people from Diamonds, we've helped people.
Yeah. So there's a partnership here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
From early on. Some of that, in all fairness and honesty, has to do with Caroline Cadot, who's
It, yeah.
Most of it, let's be frank. But both Paul and I were aware and had actually done stuff on behalf of Apron prior to that. It's something that have this thing that I do as a 50-year-old dude. I spend way too much time in bars doing that. But I've got this shtick that kind of comes up from time to time, and it seems to be true, especially if you're in a bar or a restaurant and you're talking to somebody that's in the thick of serving. There's only two types of people in this world. You can forget gender identity, you can forget politics, you can forget religion. Either you've worked in this industry or you haven't, and never the between shall meet, and that's never more prevalent or relevant than when you dine with somebody that hasn't been. And it's like, calm down.
That's a good point.
You're going to get your appetizer. It's coming. Enjoy your drink.
Exactly. And let's get off the phone. Let's have some conversation.
We're in a restaurant.
Exactly.
And I really do believe that. And the more that I'm traveling on behalf of Ballotin and spending time in bars and watching younger people do the exact same things we've all done,
Right.
It's true. And there's a camaraderie there that doesn't necessarily exist in other places.
Right.
Maybe people who work in bowling alleys, when they're later in life, they're like, I get what you're doing, working in a bowling alley. But this is real, and it's every day. And
I mean, the older we get, are you going to hit the bingo halls?
Right.
Well,
maybe.
All right. I'm digressing.
Not opposed.
Going back to you, Gary, a lot of, I'm guessing a lot or all of the money that you is based on events or donate sponsorship, whatever. So how do you go about setting these up, or what's your?
We have a few major fundraisers a year. We have a dine around, which happens in February.
Coming up.
And that's
that's crazy you say that. February is coming up.
I know.
February is where
It's happening.
I think it's February 9th, but I'm not quite positive. But and it's a really easy one. You look on our website, find out the restaurants that are participating, and go eat at a restaurant.
And then they give you.
Yeah, and they give us 10, 15%. So that's a really wonderful way to help us out with no cost for you, or except for the meal.
Right. Yeah.
We do a wonderful tasting event in July at the Olmsted called the Taste of Independence. Independence being Independence Day and Independence being independent restaurants. And the chefs really come out for that. The chefs and the purveyors, because they're helping their own. They're helping the people that sell their product. They're helping the people that are there every day for them. So
which may be helping themselves eventually. Too.
Exactly.
Well, it's a great place to network. It's the best networking anywhere.
Absolutely.
And Paul Toole got the Corby Award
That's right. We
this year.
We have an award that we give every year for the person who really helps out independent restaurants. It's named after Dean Corbett.
Right. Okay.
It was named after
There
Dean
you go.
Corbett. And Paul Toole got it because he's been there, and as has Jeff, since the very beginning. So and then there's another fundraiser that a competitor product does for us in September.
It's all good.
It's all good.
And we do a lot of smaller fundraisers like this, like through the year. People ask us to be the participating charity, and we're more than happy to. We're more than happy to get our faces out there and always promote Ballotin and the wonderful people that are working with the chocolate takeover, like Chateau Bourbon and Rabbit Hole and Cellar Door and
Copper and Kings.
Copper Kings, 502 Distillery.
Yeah.
You know, they all reach
West
out to
Six.
us and help. Exactly.
Yeah.
Tower Vodka.
Well, let's talk about these events that you got coming up. This Boo Fest, is it what it's called? Jeff?
Ballotin Boo Fest.
Ballotin Boo Fest. And
What's
the
up with that?
chocolate takeover.
Yeah.
All right. So the Ballotin Boo Fest, without getting too far off in the weeds and marketing wonky stuff, but my business partner and I are both Old Brown Foreman guys. And so what we understand is that you need to have windows of execution in order to hold distributors accountable and to ask retailers and restaurants to support your brand. And early on, we identified two key holidays for chocolate. One of them is National Chocolate Day, which is this coming Sunday, actually, which always coincides with the weekend or right close to Halloween, which is the second biggest single day party in the United States, even more so than St. Patty's Day after the Super Bowl.
That surely wasn't by accident.
It became obvious early on.
Exactly.
The other is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So we drew a line in the sand early on about National Chocolate Day. In this particular case, we hyper-localized it and called it Chocolate Takeover. Last year, we did a kind of an abbreviated version of it to see how well it would take. This year, the event locally is much larger, but we have tastings in Chicago, in Arizona, in South Carolina, in Tennessee. I'm trying to remember where all else. Oh, in specifically in Austin, Texas, and a couple of other places in Texas, all surrounding National Chocolate Day. So as our brand grows, that's a window of execution that we can ask our business partners to participate in. What we had not done yet is turn it into an on-premise event. It's always been off-premise or liquor stores, on-premise bars and restaurants. And so we had a pocket of strength in the St. Matthews area with a handful of bars. We went to all the bars and said, why don't we do this? Let's all work and play well together. We'll have Apron Inc. as a benefit. And so this Saturday, from 7 to 11, we're doing adult trick-or-treating, for lack of a better term, and there are multiple bars participating. I'm going to try to list them all. But Cafe Lulu and Diamonds, of course, Gerstel's, Diorio's, Saints, Mellow Mushroom.
It basically is at
Drake's.
Frankfurt Avenue,
Drake's.
Frankfurt, Shelbyville Road strip.
That whole strip
Right,
there.
yeah,
And if you go in and participate, the first 20 people in any of those locations will get a Ballotin trick-or-treat bag with other tchotchkes in there with some fun stuff inside. But the point is to get people drinking with celebration and drinking responsibly with celebration, and allowing for Ballotin and others to make a donation to Apron Inc. at the end of the event. So there are 2 drink features, Ballotin White Russians with Tito's Vodka, who is one of our partners. It's the Voo Dude. The Dude, as in the dude's drink, with a Halloween theme. This right here is made with the caramel turtle that you're sipping on. And then we have a shot and a beer with West 6th Pale Ale, either a can or whatever they have on draft, and our any shot that you choose of ours. So it's those drinks that will drive the benefit portion of the donation. But
So you'll be drinking your sweets. You're
Yes.
not eating your sweets, you're drinking your sweets.
And as you go bar to bar, you don't have to have a drink at every bar, but if you go bar to bar and you're the first 20 within
You get the-
those doors with the bag, you get a Ballotin tchotchke. And some West 6 is going to have some stuff in there and others too. So we encourage people to dress up and have fun. You know, that doesn't mean that you're going to be denied entry. I've already got my costume figured out. It's
Care to share?
it's relatively obscure, but I got it
Dare
figured
to
out.
share, what will it be?
So, you know the movie From Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah, that's Clooney, right?
Clooney?
Yeah.
You know Harvey Keitel?
Keitel, yeah.
His character plays the preacher who has lost his faith and is traveling with his family, and these bad dudes, Tarantino and
right.
Clooney, the brothers, hijacked him.
Right.
Well, in that film, Keitel's wearing a Guy Byer shirt and a Stetson Silver Belly and these wire rim glasses. Well, I've had this gray Stetson Silver Belly since I lived in San Antonio, since I was a Jack Daniels rep down there, and I bought that hat. I'm buying this hat, and I get too
Come
embarrassed
find
to
Jeff.
wear it. And, this is perfect.
That's a cult class. You'll get recognized.
I think there'll be a handful of people that may actually know.
No, some diehards, but they'll get it.
And mean,
Oh, you got
servant
the-
of God.
oh, yeah.
I have the name tag.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, you can say it on this show. I mean,
Well, I'm going to stay true to character.
Okay.
Keitel
Oh,
doesn't say
that's
it,
a good point.
Because he's a preacher.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
Clooney calls him out as, are you a mean motherfucking servant
Yeah,
of God?
there you go.
Or are you a preacher who's lost his faith?
Right, yeah.
And he's like, I'm a mean servant of God.
Yeah, that's right.
I've seen that movie a couple of times.
Dress the character, you got to be
I
the
love
character.
I'm going to be true to character, yes.
That's awesome.
Now, are you involved in any of this weekend? Yeah.
It's benefiting Apron.
Oh, it's all
we're-
beer. So
we're
you'll be
Yes.
partaking in
So,
those.
so when someone buys a beer and a shot or buys we participate in a donation that they'll.
Yeah, we're not tying it directly to consumption.
Right,
That gets weird and wonky,
Right.
and then people
Absolutely.
justify over. This is a fun thing. We don't want anybody to overindulge and do something stupid. This is a good thing and a fun thing. And our portion of the event is over at 11. So if people want to stay and party, get to your
There's
favorite
music.
venue,
There's
and there's
music
going
at
to
all
be
these
music at
venues.
all of them. This is going to be a big holiday because the very next week, well, you have Halloween on Wednesday and the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
There are people that are
I
saying,
forgot about that.
there are people saying this is like the mini Derby. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a good point.
And that is the pub crawl part of this
Right.
Boo Fest.
Right.
But the chocolate takeover is
Talk about that.
every bit as impressive, and that's what kind of started the whole process. So if we learn from this, since we learned from doing tastings on National Chocolate Day, we could maybe do this in Nashville or in Austin or in Chicago, pick a neighborhood and benefit something there that is worthy of benefit. And
Now, all these locations that you have, are you kind of over them as well? I mean, or
well, technically, as it relates to going to the market and working, we do have
You have your
brokers,
own, right.
but it's just myself and Paul. I mean, I was gone. I
you're
was
probably doing a
home.
lot of traveling then.
Yeah, which is cool. And back from our Brown Forman days, we know how to work that way.
Yeah.
But when you're working for yourself, you work a little bit harder.
Oh, you're Brown Foreman, so you've been in this.
Yeah. This is all I've ever done. I worked in liquor stores and bartended back when I was in college at WKU.
Gotcha.
And then moved out west, caught on with the distributor, and then was lucky enough to catch on with Brown Forman and lasted 12 years. And then I actually did a entrepreneurial effort called Ruby Red Tea. So I'm the founder of a organic tea brand. And then that ended up not working out great, but still, we had a good 8-year run where we built a national company.
Really?
Let's just say this. I'll put it this way. The margins in spirits allow to run a company a lot better than the margins in non-alcoholics do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts
So I've had the spirits industry experience at all tiers, and then entrepreneurial experience, and then my business partner and I, he was my boss. We ran the Southern Comfort brand for 4 years, going back a decade ago. We did all kinds of really cool stuff right when Southern Comfort was at its peak. And he left, I left, and oddly enough, Southern Comfort kind of went down. I don't know. That may have not had. They might not be correlated, but I'm not sure. So,
They might be.
they might be. I don't know.
Are you dressing up, Gary?
Oh, I doubt it. I might put a necklace on. That might be it.
Gary, will you be
Gangsta?
working at Jack's that night?
A little black
Yeah, are
shirt
you-
and a
are you gonna
necklace and
be-
those basic black boots.
Are you working at
You're on
Jack's?
location somewhere, aren't you? Though.
Are you gonna be?
Actually, that night, unfortunately, I have to work.
On location.
At another one of Jared's restaurants.
Well, that doesn't mean they can't go over there.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, at
You can-
Jack's Equus.
Jackson Equus, yes.
Yeah. Is that where you work?
Yeah, it
Do you?
is.
Okay.
And
That's where people know
I was
him
telling him
from.
my daughter works for Jared at
Yeah, Lulu, right.
Great.
Our neighbor is a busboy at Jack's Equus,
Oh, that's
Hampton,
right.
Hale.
Hampton, yeah. Great kid.
Yeah,
I was
he
there.
loves the industry.
I was
too.
there during his opening day night.
yeah, a bunch of us were there as well.
That was
It was a fun night.
Yeah, occupied.
You
that
were
back
over in the
there,
corner.
Yes.
You were in the corner.
Yeah. I think we
I was in the back.
we closed it down. It was fun. It was so.
But the chocolate takeover.
Oh, the chocolate, yeah.
All those other people that are participating, all those other corporations, Wessex and all the ones, Stellar Door, all the ones we mentioned, also give us a donation, which is really very kind of them. So we're very lucky this way.
And then-
And Jeff, is that at one location
Yeah,
at the Total Wine?
thank you, Caroline.
Okay.
Thank you
you're
for bringing
welcome.
that up, Caroline.
Thank you.
It is. Yeah.
I think I'll expand on that
Oh,
now.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Total Wine. The Total Wine location. They thought they'd have the second location open by Saturday, but they're not. And so it's from 1 to 5, I think.
2 to 5.
5. Thank you. need all the
Tasting.
coaching.
I got it here. Exhibits, Ballotin, West 6, Old 502, Winery, Rabbit Hole, Cellar Door,
Copper and
Kings, Tower, Chateau.
Yes, and so it's the private label vodka that which is amazing, by the way, that Total Wines has. That's where you can get, if you're curious about this brand and you want to taste it among all the other brands, by all means, make a trek to Total Wine and give this thing a try. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Can we say what's the cost or whatever to come in and
Free?
is it free?
Free.
Everything is
no
free.
door.
Except for
Now-
buying cocktails when
Buying
you're at
cocktails.
the
Well, you're
restaurants.
gonna but
Now, after
but you're
11.
doing a taste test though, right?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
so-
many
Total
liquor
Wine, it's
stores
all-
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now,
I
in my
was always
taste test-
impressed that
Chocolates
you
and
might
everything.
there might be like
Like
just
a penny.
flat fee or something.
There's a token
okay.
gesture.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
But when we talk tastings, we're talking not even an ounce, not even a half
thimble.
ounce. Quite literally enough to get it in your mouth to where you understand what the taste is. And in fact, this is interesting to me as we've expanded in multiple states. Total Wines are in multiple states.
Right.
They make their employees never swallow when they're tasting something. They have to spit the tasting out.
Why is that?
Well, one, to be responsible. Two, they don't want their employees drunk on the floor. Three, you can get everything you need if you're tasting without having to swallow. You can let it coat your mouth. You can get mouthfeel. You can get sweet, all four meal flavors in your tongue.
Bitter,
You know this specifically, yes. Your palate's amazing, actually, yes.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yes.
but
I've never had a guest on here who, palate was amazing. So.
I used to have a good palate.
Let me expound on my.
Gary is here. Gary
Please
Fox
do.
is in the house.
Please do.
No, it's just when I was living in New York, I had a wine consulting company, and
nice.
we would rarely swallow. I'm getting into a bad area here.
Yeah.
This is a.
Did you notice I kept it together when I said that? I kept it together.
Food, drink, or
I kept it together is all I'm saying.
This segment is PG 30.
But it's just sort of ridiculous thinking back on it. All these people, you would go to the French embassy and they would do all the French wines, and there'd be these people in tuxedos, and they'd all be going,
Yes, making the sound.
making that sound. And it was like, this isn't right.
And then spitting.
Right.
And that's all I know about palate.
That's all you know.
In our industry, at one point in time, I had a robust palate, and I've been through the beer nerd phase. I'm like you. I really enjoy just super hyper light beers. If I drink craft, it's usually a wheat or something on the lighter
You do
side.
the IPA stuff?
Man, I used to. I was a beer nerd, man, and that is her right there.
I love IPAs.
Oh, good.
I don't know what happened, but
can't
the
do it.
closer I got to 50, the more my palate dried up, and I hate that. But red wines, I'm into the lighter red wines now.
absolutely,
But I've had the great opportunity to be in this business and taste some really extravagant things. And you do not have to swallow to get the nuance of what a brand is all about.
Exactly.
And so not encouraging people to spit, but all you'll get at Total Wine is a thimble.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about Ballotin, too, is it's only 60%.
Thank you. 60 proof. It's accessible.
And it's
So-
great to cook and bake with.
Yeah.
It makes the
Brownies,
best cupcakes and
cakes.
brownies.
You
Cookies.
shared that with me at the AFM thread thing.
Yes.
Tell me, give me ideas on what
Recipes?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, just last weekend got a little cake mix for $1, a little spice cake mix.
Right.
I added the caramel turtle. Instead of water,
Right.
I used caramel turtle.
Gotcha.
It was
It
unbelievable.
bakes off. Most of the alcohol bakes right off.
But you taste a difference.
There's
You really
depth
do
of
taste the
flavor.
difference.
Wow.
When I make chili, I'll use the bourbon
interesting.
ball
No shit.
or the caramel
Chili.
turtle. Always.
Really?
Always. When we do like a pork roast, I'll use caramel turtle.
Sweet and savory.
Just sweet
and savory.
Yeah,
Exactly.
wow.
Yeah. Or you
That's
can just use
interesting.
the chocolate.
Yeah.
With the chili.
Oh.
And
But
they're great in muffins. They're great
Yes.
in cupcakes and Ellen's bread pudding.
the bread pudding.
Oh my
is
gosh.
to die for.
Gill on the go. Gill on the go.
On the go.
Will this
The bread pudding.
will this take
Ballotin.
bourbon balls to a different level?
It really does. So, I mean, that very flavor we specifically developed to pay homage to our Kentucky heritage.
Yeah.
As we get out into the States, people do not know what a bourbon ball is. You have to say it's like
No,
a
you're
rum
right.
ball just
Right.
made with bourbon.
That's a good point.
But there are hazelnut notes in there that are very subtle but very specific. I like it because the vanilla is forward. If one must, I'm not a purist, but if one must mix with Coca-Cola, that's a great one to mix with Coca-Cola because of the vanilla. It's great to cook with, but it's obviously great to bake with and stuff. But don't get caught up on the sweet side of it because I like cooking the sweet and savory.
Yeah.
I candy bacon with the bourbon ball or the caramel turtle. And it is amazing. Man, my wife made this amazing mole sauce using traditional Mexican spices in our original chocolate. She just didn't reduce it down to the point where it was syrupy. Whereas with the candy bacon, I get that completely, almost like a taffy. coffee. Yeah, so you can have a lot of fun with this.
Delicious. Love it. Yeah.
Delicious.
Absolutely.
And then in classic cocktails, if you're drink it how you would drink your favorite bourbon. If it's a
Yeah, but
Manhattan,
60 proof.
60 proof, yeah. That's most bourbons are 80 or higher. Most flavored whiskeys are in the 70s.
30% out, yeah.
Flavored vodkas in the 70s. This allows for accessibility for folks that are intimidated by whiskey. It doesn't overwhelm on the whiskey side, and we don't think it's too cloyingly sweet. If you've got a big palate, it's going to drink a little sweet, but
I
not
can handle
overwhelming.
these.
There you go.
These I can handle. And I'm handling these right
You're on your second. Let's,
All right.
you sure you don't want us on for the rest of the time? Let us,
You all can stick
we
around
have
as
these
long
to
as-
try right here. We've got the other ones to try. So.
There'll be other guests.
No, yeah, absolutely.
No, hang out with us. And this is incredible stuff.
Well, thank you.
It really is. To me, it's a game changer. I can't imagine I'm the only one out there that could be affected by this, but it's like I don't know. I mentioned this to my daughter. I don't know if you met her or not, but anyways, and that's the whole bourbon thing is this.
Yeah,
But when I
yeah.
talked about the flavor, they're
Yeah.
and I'm like, we're trying to get something at the event, and they're like, oh, do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
A bunch of little 20-some-year-old,
We've already talked about it, Bill. Jared's an awesome partner to us.
Yeah.
You were singing his praises earlier,
Yeah.
so that's a natural. So when is that now?
Yeah, we're up.
It is November 17th. We'll talk because I could use some companionship.
A little. I got you.
So,
I got you.
but we'll. I appreciate it. This is great stuff. Jeff Stum, sorry. Yeah. Co-owner of Ballotin Chocolate Whiskey, Gary Fox, president, owner, Apron Inc. Great segment.
Just,
guys.
yeah, president.
President. He's president.
Yeah.
Not the doctor.
It's a not-for-profit.
Yeah,
so you
Dr.
can't
Dr.
limit it.
Gary
He's
Fox.
Dr. Feelgood, but not
He's
Dr.
like
Gary
us.
Fox.
He's like us. Whatever it takes. Floor sweeper, garbage taker,
Exactly.
owner.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Back in the day, anyway.
You guys got a busy weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
It'll
great fun.
For a great cause.
Cross paths too. If I'm available, I would like to do the
Come and do the stroll.
do the stroll.
Well, but the tasting is
Yeah.
that is
would like to,
if St. Matthews at night is a little under your age restriction.
No, actually, it's,
Total Wine is
I'm
100% off.
I'm at Diamond St. Matthews routinely.
That is where I've seen you.
And
I've seen you there.
I'm a
I
little
know I know
older.
you.
I'm a little older than you, by the way.
No, really? Seriously?
You said 50?
51.
I'm 51.
Ah, there we go. There you go.
Well, I'm older than both of you.
Don't even start.
The segment.
So come out booing around St. Matthews, right?
around,
Kevin, let's
yeah.
go booing around.
let's do it.
Let's go have some fun.
Are you there this weekend?
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be working Saints,
Okay.
passing out the boo bags.
Okay.
And then I'm going to end up at Lulu,
Okay.
because that's where Beckman is bartending, and I love Lulu's.
I'll be
and
working
then
the
maybe
door
I'll
at
see
Diamonds.
Jack's.
You'll be at Diamond?
I'll be at Diamonds from 7 to whenever the tchotchkes are
costume.
gone. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I know friends of mine. They're playing there that night.
Yeah,
Oh, a band.
that's another
Naked-
key
Naked
point.
Garden, I think.
So
Oh.
I do want to be very clear. There's no cover until
Right.
there's a cover.
Right.
For our portion of the deal, there's no cover in the bars, and we'll be well done
Yeah.
by 11. So come down and enjoy our portion of it, but then go to your favorite bar and
Exactly.
and then drink more Ballotin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With
Have
a
some fun.
Uber home.
Yeah. Exactly. Good stuff, guys.
Thank you so much.
This was fun. Yeah, thank you.
You line them up
Thank
for
you,
me.
Kevin.
You're making this way too easy for me these
I
days.
know. I know. The fun people.
But that's just it.
Talented, fun, exciting, and
this has been a kind of
Meaningful
a
as
blessing
well.
in this. Yeah. So
Great to
She
hear.
knows how to put
Meaningful
people
people.
together, doesn't she?
does.
make it all mix.
Good people.
And have
So
some fun.
great segment.
Kevin.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
And I will follow you guys along this
Journey.
this journey.
I love it.
And bring awareness to Apron.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good cause. So
Thank you.
You know, one thing we'll talk. One of the events I would like to actually go on location and just do some.
Oh, we would love
Yeah,
for you
we'll-
to.
we'll talk. We'll
We'd
figure
love
that out.
for you to.
Good stuff, guys.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Let's get busy.
Baxter's 942. It's Shooting from the Lip, episode 357 on this Tuesday night, October 23rd, 2018. A lot of my guests I find on Facebook through news feeds or maybe friends of friends. And I ran across this chick, pardon the gender, who is performing on stilts, like everywhere. I think you go Krogering on your stilts. Can you maybe?
I actually have put bags in someone's truck before. They couldn't lift it. They were elderly, and I was already performing. And
Well, that's kind of sweet.
so I just helped them.
Your good deed for the day. All right, we've got Beth Godshall. Beth is a performing artist, a stilt walker. Sky's the Limit Stilt Walking. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything about you. But why stilts?
Because I'm really short.
I did notice. Yeah, that part. But you have this, this little cute, little lovely figure. But how long have you been doing this? Well, not how long. What made you?
Well, I'm really short.
You said that.
Yeah. So genetics was not working for me, and I thought,
And you
what?
couldn't reach the cookies on the counter.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But yeah, so I was like, what can I do? And when I was little, actually, my best friend's dad made stilts. So they were, I don't know if you ever played with them. They are wooden, and they have just a little step to them.
Right.
And so my friends and I would play with those, and we would have contests to see who could stand up the longest. And I'm pretty competitive, so.
I mean, it doesn't, honestly, if I tried, I'm sure I tried it back in the day. I just don't remember. But the fact that I don't remember probably means that I wasn't good at it, so I just moved on to the next thing. There's got to be, I mean, what's the trick? When you started doing this, there's a sense
13 years ago.
13 years. So when you were like 3?
No.
You look young. So
Thank you.
13 years.
Yeah,
Again,
so I've been doing professional stilts for 13 years.
Okay.
And then the wooden stilts when I was little was way long ago. But
give me the difference. I mean, when you start with wooden stilts, walk me through the whole process. You got wooden stilts.
so like when my friend's dad did it, so those were the wooden stilts. They were just handheld ones.
They are the handheld.
Yeah,
right?
they're not that exciting, but they were fun when I was a kid. And then I had wooden stilts built for me, and now what I use is aluminum stilts. So the stilts that I use are peg stilts, so they look like almost like horse hooves. That's what people usually say, but they're very small. So there's those. There's also drywall stilts. Those are what people are most familiar with, and they have the feet on the bottom. So usually the only ones
With
I
feet.
use. Yeah, the
So
only
more
one.
than just a.
Yeah. So the only ones I use are pegs, and I like those because it gives a sense of dancing. It's kind of free flowing. I think it's beautiful.
So you're performing with stilts for 13 years. I guess at what point did you say, I want to entertain people with this? I mean, give me that process. What led to that?
So actually, my ex was a stilt walker, and so his whole family was, and
His whole family was still walking.
basically, yeah. So he was a professional, and I was like, oh, that looks so fun, and I always wanted to do it.
So your boy, I think we've discovered here is, in order to date you, they had to be a stilt walker.
Yeah, I
Probably.
guess so.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, we got the X out of the way. So you started the entertainment thing.
Mm-hmm.
At what point, what sky's the limit stilt walking? At what point does that become a thing?
Oh, I don't
It's been a while?
honestly don't. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I just don't remember when it came along. I remember doing it and then all of a sudden having this name, but I honestly don't remember when I established it.
But this is yours.
But yeah,
This is your
mine.
thing. You own it. You're the. Here, I'm on your
I think
face.
it was a slow transition kind of thing.
Well, I'm looking at the Sky's the Limit Stilt Walking Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
It says created January of 2005. So
Yeah,
2005?
thereabouts. I was
so
like,
that's
yeah.
when you. So basically that's 13 years. So this was, once you start becoming an entertainer with this is, I guess the name.
Yeah.
It says, Sky's the Limit Stilt Walking is a professional and insured. Insured.
I thought that was important.
Insured for, because, let me finish this. Stilt Walking Company located obviously in Louisville. Many costumes to choose from. You take pride in making your event unique and special. Unique and special is definitely something that would, because stilt walking, who's your competition? Do you even have any, really?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, I think Louisville's really lucky because there's so many different artists and performers. So I think generally Louisville works together.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's competition.
Well,
I don't know if that sounds bad, but
is there another stilt walker out there that
there's a lot of stilt walkers
Here
in
in-
Louisville. Actually.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
there are. I don't know. I feel like in the last few years they just started coming out. I feel like I was one of the first ones.
You're
But I know I wasn't because there was a guy and I looked him up. I thought this was the coolest thing ever.
Right.
But he was from Louisville and he walked across the country on his stilts. Is that not awesome?
What?
So I know I'm not the
Whoa.
first. And this was years ago.
Walked
I don't know
across
who
the
it
country.
is, but I read about it.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
That's crazy.
Really cool.
So you think
Yeah.
by the time, from the time he started to the time he finished, his stilts would have he would have got close to the ground. Do you think because of the wear and tear?
Well, you would definitely have to change the bottoms out. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
there you go. So you have this thing that you I guess you take on the road. You go, at someone's event. You're part of the party in
Yeah.
a sense. How does that all work for you? I mean,
It's awesome. So usually people contact me and they have an event. They want to create a certain atmosphere,
Right.
and sometimes they'll want me to sew a costume, and I'll do that, or make something that's unique to their
okay.
event.
So you're not just stilt. You do the whole costume thing
I
too.
do,
Okay.
yeah.
You're creating and you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
most of the time people just want whatever I have. I have tons of costumes.
Really?
Yeah. So usually it'll just be one of the ones that I already have. But
Is
once in
there
a while I get to be
theme?
creative.
When you go about creating costumes, what's the mindset there? Because I'm looking at some things and are all your costumes catered to someone wearing stilts, or are they just
No, I make them for
regular people?
My pants would definitely not fit me. Yeah, those are really long.
How high are you up?
It makes me 8 feet. So
Like at the top, your head.
yeah, so I'm 5 foot, so
So
I'm almost normal. Yeah.
It's 3 feet. Can you dunk? Have you tried dunking a basketball?
I haven't. No.
You need to try it.
I know.
Film it and then send it to me. Wow. I think you could do that. Tell me some things about stilt walking that, people maybe have this misunderstanding or just don't know.
A lot of people think that it's the core, that you're working at your core.
Yeah,
And it
I
isn't.
do. I thought
It isn't.
that.
People always think that, but you're
So-
not. You're just walking constantly. So it doesn't matter how you move. You could dance backwards, do samba, do salsa. It doesn't matter how you do it, but
But
you have
not
to always.
everybody can do it.
Well, it takes practice, but most people, it's just, oh, bump, 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 bump. Yeah, and then you can tell who's beginners because they'll move really fast. They'll just take lots of baby steps.
Well, that to me, that would be me, because that would be my mindset would be, I have to move quick to keep from falling. I would think the slower I went, I think I'd be,
It does take practice.
Now with the stilts, are your feet secured? Is there like I don't know.
Like a strap?
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine are specially made for me. All stilts should be made for the person.
Is this local?
You can get them custom made,
Really?
or if they're wood, you can build them yourself.
Really?
Mine are aluminum, so I don't know how to weld, so someone welded them for
Is
me.
that somebody local, or do you actually?
I actually asked someone in Florida to make them.
What's on a national basis? How popular or in demand is something like this?
There's a lot of stilt walkers, and it's fun.
Is there events that only you stilt walkers go to and just?
Burning Man.
Is it?
I haven't gone, but
Is that
there's
really?
a lot of stilt walkers who go there, and there's. I know some of my friends on Facebook. There's a whole community of us, and we'll talk. And there's all different events just for stilt walkers.
Really? I'm curious. Elaborate on the insured part.
Okay, so pretty much any entertainer should be insured, especially if they do fire. I don't, but if something were to happen, then
They're not.
liable, and everyone's safe. So I rarely get asked that, but occasionally some of my bigger clients will definitely ask for that.
Okay. Make sure that they're off the hook.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you? It's safe to say when you're out there performing or whatever, you're not actively looking for people to give this a try. I mean, you're not somebody who's just there watching. They can't. You're not letting these people get up there and just.
Oh no. When I did it,
Because you're not insuring them.
No, when I started, I was on baby stilts, and I kind of worked my way up.
What's baby stilts like?
Like a foot.
Really?
Yeah, and then I just kept getting a little bit taller.
Until you got to 8 feet.
Yep.
So you graduated. So you're 3 feet up. Interesting.
And then I also have arm stilts too.
Well, I see that too. How does that work?
It's honestly,
like
I don't
you're
like
like-
them very much. They're very cumbersome and they're so heavy. I don't like them using them. But some of my costumes,
Is that like a quad? What is it?
I call them my quads. Yeah.
You're half an octopus. In a sense.
Yeah. It just gives a different ambiance.
Okay. Is it okay? So it's strictly more for a look,
Yeah.
not to help.
It does not help.
It doesn't. Okay.
I mean, you can stand still.
Okay.
But it wears on you so much.
I'm sure. I mean, and okay, nice little segue too. What's the physical demand on this? Because it doesn't look easy.
It really depends on the costume.
Okay.
So some of my costumes are extremely lightweight, and I could do it for hours, no problem. Then I perform at Forecastle, and this is a costume I did not make. Forecastle actually provided it, and it's a huge fish. And 2 people have to go and put it on my shoulders.
How heavy is that?
It's about 100 pounds. It's at least it feels like it. It might be 75. I don't know, but
it's heavy.
But it is
It's
super
really-
heavy.
Wow.
And
Why would I guess I don't understand why are you wanting
yeah, there's the 5.
to? I mean, they've got to be conscientious of the fact that you're on
Yeah.
stilts.
So with something like that, it wears on you, and my shoulders are bleeding afterwards. So I can only do maybe an hour, or if it's extremely hot that summer, I might do 45 minutes. It just really depends. They're pretty lenient on the sets.
Yeah, lenient as far as the length of your sets,
Yeah.
but you still got to wear their costume.
do, yeah.
So I guess for them, it's what is it? Or that you're marketing, or what are you exhibiting?
Yeah, so it's forecastle, so it's
Okay.
their costume is
Yeah,
fish, so
got it.
aquatic.
That's interesting. Any injuries? Anything serious?
No.
Really?
No, I've fallen 4 times in 13 years, and the first fall was actually the first time I went on stilts. I went from grass to concrete, and I fell over.
No pain?
No,
None? No
you
skin
learn,
knees
you learn
or
how to
the
fall.
fall? That's
so.
that's a good point. Huh? What happens if you you're on stilts and you where the car hits a like a pothole or something? Yeah. So what happens if you I'm actually being serious. If you're on stilts and you hit a spot that's a couple inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
is that,
it happens a lot.
I'm sure. What does that old shit look like? That you look at the camera and give that old shit look.
No, but you do kind of stumble, but you catch yourself.
The good ones do.
Yeah, there are people. Sometimes I'm at events, and people are just mean, and they will be really drunk.
You mean like hecklers, that kind of shit?
They're just mean people.
Are they
You get them.
trying to?
They will try to
make you fall.
They will try to make me fall.
You fuck. I mean, that's bullshit. I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are
Sometimes
those
that happens, but you just kind of learn how to move and counterbalance.
I'm curious. I mean, just like with any entertainer, there's that potential of hecklers. How do you deal with them? Do people really want to see you angry? I mean, you're all of 5 foot, so I mean.
People. Usually, it's just people who are very drunk.
Yeah.
And I try not to take it personally.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll cry. No,
No, isn't that what you use the arm stilts to?
Usually I'll try to turn it as a joke, or I'll try to actually be more friends with them, and I'll
Really?
work more with them, and it usually works.
Okay. People. I see. Did you just get married or something?
We got rings.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw getting some information on your page, and I thought I saw
Yeah.
a picture. So, just rings.
Yeah, we've been together for 10 years.
So he's endured all this. Is he a stilt walker?
He isn't. No, he
How
tried.
did he get?
He tried to still, and he
And?
did not enjoy it. So yeah, it just wasn't for him. It's not for everyone.
So, but he enjoys watching you.
No, he
Oh, he
doesn't.
doesn't?
No,
Does he
gets
even not even go to
He
your
doesn't
event?
go to any. He's done a couple, but he gets really nervous.
That's
And
because he cares.
He does. Yeah, he kind of loves me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets really nervous when I perform.
Yeah. And, we were talking to some people that are going to come on next, and you've been to some of these like burlesque shows, stage, where you actually go on stage. Now, to me, that's a little different because, at some of the events pictures that I'm seeing, you got a lot of space to work with, where, like at this burlesque show or something,
Yeah.
you're on a stage, so your space is limited.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, you don't take up that much space, or
Right.
you don't need to, especially if you're in a tight crowd. But like,
But I
yeah,
guess
was-
here's what I'm getting at is that in a big open area, you can do more. I would think but in a limited space, what are you doing? I'm curious. I'm trying to
So you
visualize.
want to know what I did?
I did, yeah. So, because,
I did.
Go ahead.
Lisa's coming up
Yeah.
next, and promoting Va Va Vixens. They're really sweet and very nice.
They are.
And I did a few shows with them. I was only on stage twice, but my favorite one was the circus, and so naturally I wanted to be on stage with them. So I had this huge Southern belle dress and I think 3 girls went underneath the dress, and then we just got on stage all together. And then I lifted up the skirt, and they all came running out. They were dressed as poodles. It was
cute.
Yeah.
Actually, that's creative.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that I'm guessing you're limited on what you really can do.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to have someone come out, but if it's just you, what kind of
I never do it. I never.
So you're working.
I've never been on stage by myself.
Okay, so you're working with. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And that to me that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because again, not to say that you couldn't pull something off, but it's just not enough space, I would guess too.
I've seen some stilt walkers perform burlesque, and they are awesome. I don't like all eyes on me. I like other.
Whoa, hold on. What?
It's true. When I'm on.
No, let's be a straight shooter.
Yeah.
Anybody that's walking around on stilts, it's probably safe to say if you you and me are
It
out.
sounds like it, but honestly, it's the truth. So.
It's not it's not an everyday thing.
But
you
when
see.
I'm on stilts, there's other things going on. So not all eyes are on me all the time.
Okay.
So like on stage, it would be everyone, and that just is scary to me.
You're still doing something very unique.
It is unique.
So, performances, you got anything lined up?
Yeah, so this whole month I'm doing let's see, Jack-O-Lantern Spectacular.
Is that this weekend or?
So it's been going on since the second week of
that's
October,
right.
and then it'll go to November 4th, and it's wonderful. Definitely go. It's a very unique, beautiful.
Where is that?
It's in Iroquois Park.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they have about 30 to 40 different artists.
So is it
carve
like on the
pumpkins.
weekends, just a weekend thing, or is it throughout the week?
Yeah, it's throughout the entire
Really?
week. And it's if you guys want to go, definitely go during the week because it is so crowded.
Yeah.
On
During the week,
weekend.
during
Like, go-
night week. Is it during what's the hours?
It's after. It's around 7:30.
Okay, so
you want it to be dark just because it's a little prettier.
there you go. So that you got Halloween thing or Jack-O-Lantern. What other?
So, I mean, it's a lot of private events.
Okay.
I'm doing something at Huber's. A lot of times I don't even know what I'm going to. They'll just say, hey, Beth, be here. So
Okay.
I attend.
I can imagine that you're staying busy with this.
Yeah, October is my busiest month.
Is it?
Yeah, just because of all the fall festivities. Spring and fall are insane. And then it comes Christmas. And then
So is it safe to say in the heart of the summer, it's being that much closer to the sun? Is it bearable?
it really depends on the costume. Some of them are just so heavy, and I am just sweating.
I still can't get over the fact that someone's asking you to put on 75 or 100 pounds worth of.
And I wasn't exaggerating. That is. It
Sounds
was
like you're
so-
maybe a little bit.
Did you see the picture?
Is it on your?
It's huge.
Which on
It's
the
really big.
on the Skies page or
Yeah,
your?
there's a. I think it's on my Facebook and Sky's Limit Stilt Walking. But yeah, it's the body is like that big, and then on top of it, there's a tail. It's really big.
I'll find it. I'll add that.
They have to climb a ladder to put it on me. It's ginormous.
So, and how long are you having to wear something like this, or?
So, so generally for any type of event, the longest I do with breaks is 1.5 hours. The longest I've done with breaks was 8 hours. I don't know how long I can go, but
Is that the longest one?
the longest, was 8. That was
Have you thought about doing anything crazy like, the guy you mentioned that went?
I would love to.
Really?
Yeah, I actually biked across the country, so I
Oh,
would
yeah?
love to walk at least maybe around the state or something.
How long would something like that take?
I have no idea
Oh,
because I
really?
mean, you have to rest, and
You have to.
and if you're going out mountains, that'd be really intense, which is so
Uphill?
much more
Yeah.
intriguing.
Can you
and
keep in mind
exciting.
if you're going up a hill,
I
that's
know.
got to be more stressful or take more energy.
You would have to take more smaller strides.
Would
I don't
you?
know.
Would you?
Yeah,
Smaller?
yeah, because
Okay.
you don't want to take too big of one and then you have to reach up.
I'm trying to. Do you actually have video of you doing this
Yeah, there
on
should be
the? Okay,
some,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have to check it out. I've seen the pictures, but I actually want to see
me in action.
you in action. Yeah. Wow. All right, Beth. Very interesting stuff here. And again, I told you it was a sit-down interview, but I was kind of hoping to
I'm
see.
sorry.
That's all right. There'll be other times.
Okay.
I'll make sure to get at
you.
one of these. Are you still nervous?
I'm still a little nervous. Not as nervous as earlier, but I am a little bit.
You open one of these, you need a sip of Beth, if someone's interested in pursuing something like this, what's the agenda or recommendation you would give somebody?
I know that Turner Circus, I don't know, have you met anyone from them?
I've heard. Oh, is that
They're right on River Road.
Yesman? Is that Anita?
Yeah, Anita, she does
She's
it.
actually she does it too.
I've never seen her still,
Well, yeah,
but she
she's
does.
coming-
She
she's gonna
does
be here next
everything.
month.
She's
Yeah,
really great. But yeah, they're really good people,
Yeah.
and I know they teach stilts.
Okay.
I don't teach, but I know they do, and they're really awesome. So if anyone wants to learn,
Turner
Circus
Circus
on
right.
River Road.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Beth Godshall.
Oh, and Cirque Louis, I know they have.
Cirque Louis. Oh yeah.
They have,
obviously. Yeah. I've heard. Yeah.
They have nights where they actually teach,
Do they
the
teach?
public,
Okay.
so
Oh.
they're really good too.
Miss Stilt Walker, or well, Mrs. He's not Mr. Stilt Walker, so Miss Stilt Walker. Good segment. Appreciate the info. It's fun. To me, this is one of those things where I just got to see it in person
Yeah.
to really appreciate it.
It's definitely fun, and you should definitely come to Jack Lantern
John,
Spectacular.
you said that's until the beginning of November, right? You're there. Are you there like every night, or?
I am. This week it will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and actually next week I'm not doing it. So for 4 days this week.
And that'll be it for you then, because next
Yeah.
week will take us into November.
It will be Halloween,
Halloween,
and actually
yeah,
Halloween is that it's not very busy there.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Great segment. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much for having
I
me.
learned a lot. It's very interesting. So good luck.
thank you.
Stay safe. Stay insured. And to the hecklers out there. Thanks.
Let's get busy.
Segment 3 tonight. I've shared this with some other people. The whole Vixen, the burlesque, all this sexy stage stuff. It's like a guilty pleasure, man. I like to get out and hang out and, being the voyeur that I am. I'm telling myself. Tonight, for segment number 3 again, Shooting from the Lip, episode 357. On this Tuesday night, October 23rd at Baxter's. Lisa Frye,
Hello.
how are you?
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate you having us on your show.
I'm really into what you do. Vixens. We're going to talk to Vixens, Va Va Vixens, Art Sanctuary. We're getting into all those. We've got some friends with us. We've got Andre.
How you doing?
Andre, stage name?
Cooter Brown.
Cooter Brown.
Cooter Brown.
Oh yeah.
I want to get history. I want to get an understanding on why that name is, why that's your name.
Yes, you do.
And we have Hilary.
Hi.
Stage name?
Lady Stardust.
StarDust. Okay.
Big Bowie fan,
Yeah.
obviously.
Dave is badass too. Lisa.
I do not have a stage name
Why not?
because I do not get on the stage.
At all?
Never.
That's our man.
Really?
Nope. I'm I've been called the madam or the boss. The boss. I guess
Boss
on the
lady.
website I'm like referred to as that or the boss lady. I'm founder of Art Sanctuary, which begun with a group of ladies, co-founder, about 16 years ago out of my house. And then we had weekly meetings there. We would do like a potluck with artists and musicians and different things every week that would end up being around 25 to probably 100 people up in my house, like for 3 straight years, which was great.
Wait, 25 to 100 people?
Yes, I know, it was crazy. Sometimes there were people like flowing out into the yard, and it was a really great thing that we did on Mondays. And it started off being a thing where we could kill Monday because, ew. But then we made a lot of great relationships and got Art Sanctuary off the ground, which we would do these hit and run art shows where we had multidisciplinary things happening. So there'd be about 70 visual artists of all different levels of skill, all different genres, mediums. And we would also have performing artists like dancers or belly dancers or fire dancers or bands and people singing or doing spoken word, or it was just anything that had some kind of art vibe we would put.
Right.
And we did these hit and run shows for probably, I think we did like 12 of them, maybe at once a quarter, until we ended up getting a building. And that's when we partnered with another nonprofit for a while in Butchertown. And that's where the Vixens were born about 9 years ago.
I was gonna say, I was thinking it was close to, but
It's been almost,
Yeah.
this November is the anniversary of our first show, or our 9th anniversary.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
we have
that's why-
we've got something in common. My anniversary is next month. so-
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so-
Very cool. Well, and since we're talking about the next show coming up, suddenly.
Let's talk about it.
Here's a flyer for our next show. This is actually our 25th show. So we've been around for 9 years, but this is our 25th show.
So you do the quick math. It's almost 3 shows a year.
Sometimes we've done 4. We did skip the summer. I needed a break.
So is this
so we've
almost
had a
like
little
quarterly
hiatus.
Yeah, okay.
Usually we try to do 3 a year.
Okay.
That way we have 4 months to get the show together. Because
Because
normally
they're over the top.
They are
shows.
over the top.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of rehearsal. There's giant choreographed dance numbers. There's aerials. It's hilarious usually.
Yeah.
Great,
had a few
amazing
serious
singers.
shows.
Yeah, there's been some serious
it
ones.
is entertainment personified. I
Right,
mean, it's like
right.
entertainment on steroids. It's kind of, yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I like
so,
that.
Let me, we're going to get back to that. Let me get the guys, Andre, Cooter Brown.
Cooter Brown.
Where did that come from?
All right, so you actually met the young lady who came up with it. Her name's Carrie, and she was like, "We're putting your name
As in,
on."
that's
Lola.
Lola. Yeah,
Lola
okay,
B.
yeah.
She was like, "Dude, I need your name. We're putting it on the website. I need your name." She's like, "If you don't give me a name soon, I'm going to call you Cooter Brown." And I was like, I gave it like 2 days thought, and I was like,
Why not? Let's go.
"Dude, I love it."
You're like, I can't actually come up with something better than that.
Like, dude, I love it. So I was like, "I'm sorry, you're gonna have to keep it." She was like, "No."
Oh, she
No.
just,
And I was like, "Yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna keep it." She was like,
Okay. So, yeah, to her, it was
She was trying
it
to
was
scare
like a
you.
threat.
"Exactly." It
And
was
then
a
you
threat to
turned
her.
it-
And I was like, "That's perfect."
Perfect.
Like,
that
it's
is
actually a
funny.
thing. Like, if you Google Cooter Brown, you'll come up with a definition. You know, it's like,
Oh, I bet you will.
Well, she's one that I was corresponding with her on Facebook Messenger under her the
Lola D.
Lola D. And I had actually forgotten. She wound up responding back, and she's like, "You can't message me here. I never see it. You got to message me at Carrie." I'm like, "I don't know you. I didn't know her as Carrie." So, anyway. Hilary. Give us what's the
With the name?
Yeah, well, the history of the name.
Oh, God. There's not much history in the name. Like
She's
I said
had
before,
several names
I've had
throughout her,
several.
because she's been with us since pretty much the very beginning.
I
Really?
missed
So-
the first 2 shows.
Right,
So I came in
so-
the first year.
Okay.
But missed the first 2
Gotcha.
shows.
He's
of
like
it.
8 years old now. And you're how many
Okay.
years old?
I'm like 5.
He's 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
but still, I mean, wow.
You know, I used to be Dollface Molly. That was my name for a long
the
time.
perfect name for her
Dollface was
little
my nickname
Dollface.
in high school.
Oh, okay.
Molly just kind of got tagged into it by a friend of ours. And then
No threats there from.
no
Lola,
threats
yeah,
there.
okay,
It was
yeah.
just like, you can't just be Dollface. We're going to tag Molly on here.
Yeah.
But I've never been a big fan of the name Molly. It's just not one of my favorite names. So, in turn, I changed it to Lady Stardust later on just because, again, big Bowie fan.
Bowie fan.
That's
How long have you
about all
been
there
lady?
is.
How long have you had that name?
How long have I had that name?
It was right after he passed is when
Is
he
it?
took that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just kind of like your tribute
so-
to him.
Yeah.
2
So
years.
yes, within the last couple of years. Well,
Yep.
okay. Good.
Yeah.
So back to you're just the CEO. You're the man. You run the
I'm
show.
Not just that.
Well, no, I'm just.
mean-
but you don't perform.
No, I have horrifying stage fright to the point of like even doing this, I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna be terrifying. But you know, it's been okay. You were very, very.
Have some more.
Thank you.
Right, have some
I
bourbon.
will take.
Drink it
this
straight
is
out of
excellent,
the
by the
bottle.
way, Jeff.
Yeah.
Very
Have
good
they-
stuff.
If they tried it,
I've not
You
tried
wanna try-
it.
You
yeah,
guys
you
should
can
try
try
this
it.
because it's
Yeah.
very, very
Ooh,
good.
can I set this
He
down?
let me
Will it
have a
make
sip,
noise?
and then I was
Right.
just like,
There
I
you
want
go.
the whole bottle. It's really, really good.
yeah,
I'm not saying no to bourbon.
yeah, exactly.
It's really sweet and it's very mild. It's
I'm not
yummy. It doesn't have a.
I'm not. Yeah, the
Right at
bourbon
all.
that's straight. Yeah, but this is tasty.
It's
I can
sugary.
do
It's
that.
candy-like.
It is. So yeah, help yourself.
Thank you.
Let's get back to the show.
Oh.
What's the?
This is called, it's our 25th showcase,
Right.
and it's Va Va Views from the Vault. So these are numbers that we've wanted to perform for a very long time, and we've kind of they just either didn't fit somewhere or it was too much for whatever we were doing, because a lot of times we'll do a themed thing. So this will be a true variety show. And these are, yes, it's at Art Sanctuary, which is, whoa, see, watch it with the alcohol. I mean, gosh.
Cut him off. Cut him off.
He hasn't even had a sip yet, and he just smelled it and it went crazy.
Bottle's too big.
But it's November 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th.
Okay.
And it
So
is at Art
that's-
Sanctuary,
Okay. So
which
it's
is in Germantown.
Not this week. Not so it's.
It's 3 weeks away.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, 3 weeks away.
3 weeks? Yeah. Well, that's terrifying.
We have a lot to do.
what's some of the performers that?
We
give it a-
have we have about 20 in this show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, let's see, we have a bunch of really big dance numbers. We have Megan Julius doing some songs, which she is. Oh my
She's
gosh.
amazing.
During
Yeah.
rehearsal,
She's
I cried
good.
no less than 5 times. So we had our first full run through last Sunday, and I'm sitting in the back sound booth just like, she sings one of the songs, and I'm not going to give it away, but she sings,
She's,
I swear I had tears streaming down my face. It's
so
unbelievable.
she's singing with an act or by?
She's singing by herself for that one.
Okay,
That one,
okay.
we don't need anything
Okay,
else.
gotcha.
It's just too
Alright,
dramatic.
alright,
It's
yeah.
absolutely
beautiful.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
She can fill the stage with her voice. Just
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
yeah.
she's-
Well, and she wouldn't do that at first. She felt like she needed a big bunch of stuff going on behind her, and I'm like, you do not. You just she's in her band Julius, and she's in some other projects, and she's been singing for a very long time. But I think this kind of gives her an opportunity to really just be her on stage, which that's pretty cool. It's a cool
Oh,
place to
yeah,
be able to
absolutely.
have that audience.
Right.
So.
So you got four nights, right?
4 nights, yep.
Yeah.
2, a Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday.
Right. You know.
We have VIP tickets. The Saturdays are actually already sold out, but we still have VIP left for both of the Fridays. And we have plenty of general admission tickets left. So
I might need to bring the shooting from the lip.
you
live
should.
thing one
You
of
should
nights.
totally come. You would
Yeah.
love
The
it.
Saturday, I think it would have to be a Friday night, but we'll talk.
Yeah, Fridays would be
yeah,
better
yeah,
actually, because it
okay.
won't be as crazy crowded. Well, I mean, it might be. Who knows? Sometimes they're insanely crowded.
Yeah, what was that was the was that who's? No, it was Ricky Little's.
Oh, yeah.
Were you all there for that? I don't know if you were there for that.
I
It was a
didn't
couple.
go
Of,
to
that's
that one. I
only.
had
It
to
was a
work
few.
that night.
Andre was bartending with
Oh, you
me.
bartended. Okay. Yeah,
Yes, for the
yeah.
We Are the Weirdo
Yeah.
show. That was great.
That was good.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I was happy on how good it was.
Yeah. And
And Kat was in that.
Kat.
And she's amazing. She's in a lot of numbers in this next one, too. So
She did a lot for the show.
we love her
my
so
buddies,
much.
the ass haulers, were
Oh, yeah,
hauling
yeah.
ass.
Mhm,
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah. Well, we got so this Vixens event, 4 nights. So you're saying basically 3 shows a year.
Right.
Is it? And a lot of that is because of the prepping and
Because of the prep.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Well, we want to make sure that we continue to do a full variety show.
Right.
And it's not just...
define the variety.
Well, we like it to be kind of old vaudevillian style in a way, but then kind of full big and Vegas-y too. Right. So it's incorporating a lot of different things, and even like the soundtracks for them are all over the board. It's anywhere from vintagey type music to just crazy metal music to punk songs to just beautiful ballads, or it's all over the board. So I don't know. We like to mix it up as much as we can, but then keep challenging all of the artists involved to do something that they'd never done before.
Right.
It's like, of course, we're incorporating some of the classical things like the fans, or some of the aerial things we've done before. Like we've made ourselves a cube and a spiral and different cool
You
things.
got the fire.
We can't do fire.
Oh, you can't do fire there, right?
Right.
That's right. Okay.
But Kat does fire all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very
that's
talented fire artist.
her specialty.
Can you?
sure.
I'll start with Honor. Can you give us a little hint or idea of your act?
He's in a bunch. That's the thing. It's like they're all in a bunch of numbers. It's not just them doing solos. I mean, some of the numbers we have 20 people on stage, and they're doing acro, or they're playing instruments and singing at the same time and climbing up to the top of the freaking huge scary back thing.
High up.
Yeah.
She's challenging herself in some way she never has before.
See,
That was awesome, by the way. It's my first time seeing it. When I looked around, I was like, what is she doing
so
up there?
glad.
Like,
and here's a little.
It's hard to climb that ladder while you're singing.
Well, let's give those guys, you guys, props here. A lot of that shit you are all doing is very athletic too. I mean, it's
I don't know how
not
they
a
do
lot
it.
of people
They're
can
so
do that.
strong. They're
It
so
is.
strong.
I mean, really.
It's inspiring to be around like a bunch of people like
Well, I'm
that,
sure.
you know, and it keeps
Yeah.
you going. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, when we've got this girl Beth, and that is like amazing. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, she can do anything.
anything.
She
I
went
watched
to
her
real
lift
life
a
circus
full-grown
school.
man over her head.
She can, she
Okay.
can lift him
A
over her head.
full-grown man over her head. You know what I mean? And she's like tiny. She's like Beth Godshall.
Well,
Yeah.
no, are you serious?
Yes.
She put
Well, she's
over.
a beast.
Oh, yeah.
She's a beast, man.
1 foot in each hand.
Like straight up, dude. She really is that strong. She went to school for it.
The
so,
amount
yeah.
of talent in this group is unbelievable.
No,
I mean, I seriously
without
do
a doubt.
cry at every rehearsal because
you?
I'm so impressed with them.
It's impressive.
blows me away.
It's impressive from what I see them do, and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm a part of it because
Yeah.
it pushes me to keep going. You know, so
Yeah, and again, I'm tooting your all's horn, but there's a lot of talent. I mean, not just characters, but there's some skill here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and,
I mean, these aren't just solo after solo
Yeah.
after solo in a show. These
Right.
people have been working on this, just honing the numbers. The costumes are unbelievable.
Well, I want to. That's a nice segue. I want to get into.
And they're
that's
all
it.
working on those at the same time when they're
help
doing
me
that.
understand what's the mindset when it comes to the costumes. Is there? I mean, everybody's got. Are you all trying to tell like a story with the costumes, or is it
Completely depends on the show.
Okay.
Because we've done themed things like we did Va Va Wonderland, where we did a whole Alice in Wonderland theme. We did a Prince tribute show where we dressed in all of his kind of
Really?
styled costumes, which we are going to do that again.
Please.
Because I am like insane Prince fan crazy. So we will do that again probably for his birthday this year. Because I just like maybe just one weekend this time, but definitely. But we've done Va Va Vittles, which was a show all about food, and everybody
was our
dressed as
funniest
food, which was
show.
hilarious. We had a waitress, Leanne Cooper, Dita DeVille was the host for that, and she was absolutely hilarious. Like, that is
She's
still one of the
hilarious.
funniest shows ever.
She's one of the funniest people I know.
And for this one, since it's our 25th show, we are revisiting some of the old costumes for just the transitions,
right, yeah.
because I mean, we have a whole giant 600 square foot
I was gonna say, yeah.
costume
Yeah.
closet
Really?
full of amazing things that have been built by so many people involved. I mean,
It's
so
still there, maybe?
yeah, and just I mean, it's it's a spectacle, and we want to incorporate, just because I was like, well, for transitions this time, since we're not doing like a specific storyline, we're going to bring in some of these like silly costumes, and just, I mean, we were using like a Hall & Oates song, and, you know, just fun, entertaining things that might not necessarily be sexy, but that's what I think makes the sexy so much sexier, when you actually have a tease, where it's not just you're getting beaten over the head with just like, it's a striptease again and again and again. It's like, this is so much more than that. And it's hilarious, and it can be serious. Like I said, this one is going to be some heartstrings kind of stuff, though, because it's our 25th thing, and it's a big deal.
You're an emotional one, aren't you?
I am.
Very
But no, let me rephrase it. You're very passionate.
Extremely.
much better word.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Exactly.
That is
what
a
it
good
is.
word.
But you also seem very proud. of-
Very. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So much.
And again, how many people, like, for this event, how many performers will there be total?
I think we have about 20 in this show, but we've had as many as 40 in a show before. I think Wonderland was our hugest.
I can tell you exactly. We have 15 in this show.
In this show, okay,
Yes.
we have 15 in this show, but I'm counting stage
All this
crew and
coming?
everything.
And
Okay,
stage crew.
Yeah.
all right, so
Yes.
all together, but yeah,
I
about
was talking
15
costumes I had to
okay.
make for finale.
She's got the number down.
So are you the costume maker? Did I hear that right?
As far as how we generally do that, whatever number you're in charge of, you're in charge of the costumes. So I'm choreographing finale, so I designed the costumes for it. However, I will give complete credit to Kat.
Kat has
Because
been
she has
working her
taken on
ass
so
off.
much and helped me out with it financially and helping me do all the things. She's probably done more for it than I have, aside from designing them. So I will throw her name out there.
Absolutely. She's been working her butt off. And she made us get new fans for this one, too.
Yeah.
She could not handle our ratty ass fans.
When you say
Like,
fans, like
they're
what?
old.
What kind of fans are we talking
The
about?
feather fans.
fans,
So
gotcha.
prepare to see way fluffier fans now,
fluffier.
because
Alright.
it's like they were so beautiful when Deb Foster bought them for us years ago, which was amazing of her. But we've had them for a really long time, and they're starting to get a little
Oh yeah, we've had them for like
velveteen
7
rabbity.
years.
You know, you're mentioning someone buying stuff. Do you all, this is self-fund? I mean, how are you all operating this?
Well, let's see. When I started with Art Sanctuary as long ago, the first event that we had, I sponsored it with my credit card, basically. And luckily it was enough to get paid back a little bit. And then so I kept that. And then each time we would just build on what we had.
Right.
So that's been the way with the Vixens too. That's why we do percentages,
Right.
so that something always is left behind, so that we can afford our insurance.
right, yeah.
Yeah, because we have to have
You
liability
got-
insurance for
you got your
the
overhead.
venue, and even though it's Art Sanctuary is the venue, we still have to have insurance
Of
there
course,
too.
yeah. Right.
So it's a lot of like, and that's the fun stuff the glamorous fun stuff that I get to deal
but
with.
that somebody has to do it.
Right.
Right. So,
Right. So, but yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the hard work, we wouldn't exist. So
So you get, for this November, when did y'all start practicing or getting in the mindset to dedicating for this?
it depends. Like some of us started earlier because we needed more time.
Yeah.
It depends. It goes down the line.
Gotcha.
Some of the people that had like super big ideas started way early because they wanted to hone it and make sure. Like the guys decided they wanted to do an all male acro number, which I was like, that's fantastic. Please tell me more. And
How many guys do you actually have, involved?
we have a ton of guys
I mean,
now.
there's more than what people
Well,
think.
now we have
We have four
four.
guys. Yes, 4 guys. Yes. So, and we at first were calling them Vixens and instead, but I don't know if we still call you guys that.
We still call each other that.
Okay. So we have the Vixens
when
and
the guys come in, we're like, "You're a Vixen now, buddy."
Do y'all have your own lingo or with this? I mean, I'm curious. You know, the whole vaudevillain thing is that, you know, there's that carny type of like. Is there anything like that?
I wouldn't say so.
No?
I'd be
Okay.
like, you know, you got a bunch of regular people that come together and do something awesome. You know, it's just like normal conversation. No,
But you're Cooter Brown.
we are. Yeah.
He is Cooter Brown.
Stu, his stage name is Cooter Brown. I love
Right?
it.
It is so good.
That's great.
You, the event that I attended, one thing I noticed, you had they had a magician.
Right.
Am I wrong? I didn't is that a norm? Because I'm a magician. I didn't.
We've had,
didn't see-
you know, Darshwood, the Conjurer.
Yeah,
we
good
had
God.
him in the beginning. I think one of our first shows, he was one of the actors
Really?
in it. With Lola D. They did kind of a. They got married on stage.
okay.
Like so, it was I think that was Va Va Vegas.
Okay.
So we did like a. God, that seems like a million years ago. But he's done some stuff, and then he did a couple of acts. But I find that with the Vixen shows that we need to like keep it moving really, and a lot of like super long talking kind of stuff I feel like doesn't work with what we're doing. But it just depends on the act.
What's your take on having a black stand-up comic who likes to go shirtless and show off his muscles when he's?
I think he's trying to get this guy involved. Who's this guy?
I think that's perfect.
Stu is
I know,
you.
like that kind of seems like a
ignoring you.
really great.
Are you not listening to me over there? You're not, are you? Yeah, that's his name, by the way. That's a stage name in itself. Stu Askew.
You.
Well, I'm sure you could audition.
Yeah. We'll talk later. This is right up your alley. You heard of the Va Va Vixens, haven't you?
Va Va Vixens? Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah? Really? Whatever you're doing over there, clearly more important than us. So go ahead. So 4 shows coming up in November. It's Friday and Saturday. You said what? Let's rattle the dates off.
November 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th.
Saturdays are sold out.
The VIP section
the
is
VIP
sold out for
section.
Saturdays,
Gotcha.
but Friday's still open.
Gotcha.
I mean, about halfway through on those days, but we're still like 3.5 weeks out.
Oh, look at the entertainment.
Uh-oh.
You
Something
know those
going
people?
on. Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Ew.
No. We're just gonna just shift right into. I don't know how. It's like nights like this. I don't know how everyone. Your all's little clique. You know. Apparently, I must have had this on my mind.
You must have.
Yeah, it's your scheduling, man. It's crazy.
I did.
We did not schedule.
Yeah, I know.
You did all that.
Go back to Art Sanctuary again. Talk about what. I know you do music events there too.
We have so much
Tell
going
me-
on there right
tell
now.
me
Like my head
everything.
is spinning. We just got the venue part open up about. I guess it's been about 1.5 years ago. Because we started off with just one room in the building
Right.
and went all around the place for 7, almost 8 years, and finally have taken over the big room. And that's when we got our liquor license, and we had to deal with some zoning problem. It was a big, long thing. So, but now we have so many things going on. This weekend we have the ear sees, the eye hears, which is all the bands from in the gallery. We have musicians that have made art.
Oh yeah.
And so this Friday, their bands are performing. So you can go and hear their band and then see their art in the
watch
same
it.
night. And
Okay.
it's also a fundraiser for Art Sanctuary. So I've gathered up an
Okay.
awesome
Well, that's my other thing,
silent
too.
auction baskets and things like that.
What
we're
do
gonna do.
are you doing events to help fund you? as well.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
We're doing this one is one that we're doing on our own. I produce the Vixens and manage them, and that is a program of Art Sanctuary. And let's see, we also do weddings in there. We do. We have bands playing there, like almost every weekend coming up, except for when we have this show.
What's not been there that you want to?
Oh gosh,
It's a good question.
that is. I mean,
There's been a lot there.
I know.
mean,
it's
'cause
like
I'm
we've kind of
hearing
done a
a
little
lot
bit
of
of
stuff.
everything right now. I mean, golly.
Have you done comedy shows there?
No, well, kind of. We had the Hideaway Fest a couple weekends ago, and they had a whole room where comedy was going on, and it was pretty popular. There were a lot of people in that room, so and they did it for hours, so they had a bunch of different.
I've got to keep
lined
that.
up.
I want to keep that your place in mind because in 2019, yeah, I'm going to start using my show as a means to put events in. Like the thing I'm doing this in November the 17th is my birthday bash show.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, 4 years, and but that night with music and stuff, where proceeds are going to an autistic group, and
that's awesome.
I'm now to the point with my show that I can start doing stuff like that.
That is fantastic.
I want to do that stuff I want to do. So I think your venue might be a nice place to.
Of
to
course,
do something.
yeah,
So-
we'd love to help with that for sure.
So, as long as Cooter's serving the alcohol, then
Cooter will be there.
hell yeah.
I'll be there. Yeah, let me know when, and I'll be there.
Anything else? After November.
exciting to say?
After November, what's on the table?
Oh, after November, our next show, which we've been working on for a very long time, is going to be Va Va Wizard of Oz. So we're
Really?
doing that theme, and I've been with Ashley Mueller working on a poster today, actually.
Oh, nice.
So I'm super excited. We've got like a rough layout together for that, and we have some of the cast figured out, but we
What's
still.
the date on those?
It's going to be Valentine's-ish, so February, I believe it's the first 2 weekends of
What's
February.
crazy? I mean, we're talking February, but what is it? We're 3 to 4 months away.
I know, I know. That's why we have to be working on this at the same time.
Yeah.
And I already wrote out all of the ideas for that, and people just have to fill in different things because this is a collaboration. So we have a lot of people coming with their ideas, and we have, of course, this one is a very specific type of costuming because it's an iconic theme. So we got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
So we always do, and we always make it happen. So
But with this, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I was going to say you probably don't have as many characters, but there are a lot of
well, I mean, you cannot have too many winged monkeys. Is what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like aerials, and that's the
What are those?
beautiful thing
what's the
about our
small people
sanctuary.
called?
The munchkins.
Munchkins, yeah.
Well, we're not doing that. So that's
Okay.
a little messed up. But winged monkeys. There's a lot of aerialists, and we've already created our giant spiral that we can use for the tornado.
Really?
We have
Okay,
a lot
okay.
of really cool ideas for that visually.
Do you
And-
already have your Oz picked, or not the wizard? I always say Oz. It's not Oz. It's the wizard.
I think
You got-
this one might be a little bit more symbolic. We're going to work on that
Okay.
because there's some weird twists that we're working on. And because this is a modern version, and of course we're not trying to rip anything off, but we do like the visual aspect to it, and I mean the story, but we'll mix it up a little bit like we do, and we'll have to of course make it super sexy because
Very, of course.
hello,
Obviously.
I
Nothing.
mean these are the people that are going to be on stage.
I'd
so
expect nothing less. So.
Right.
And we'll get you back on to promote that too.
that would be great. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Yeah. So,
It's
Lisa,
been really fun.
Andre, Hilary, Cooter, Dust.
Cooter.
Great segment. Good luck with your 25th.
25th.
Mama's gonna be
I know, me crying.
A mess.
She's gonna be crying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be a wreck.
She balls like every show.
That's all right. But she's
Oh, I can't help it.
loud and proud. Actually.
Seriously, she's Baba's biggest fan.
Yeah.
She really is.
I can tell. Great segment, guys. Good luck, and we'll talk because I would like to come out and live stream and
Okay.
help you guys out as much as I can.
That would be super awesome.
All right.
Love it.
Thanks. Good.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, brother.
Thanks.
Let's get busy.
Segment 4 of the night here at Baxter's. It's episode 357, October 23rd, 2018. Next up, we've got some entertainers, more entertainers.
Got a night of entertainers.
Yeah, we had the crew. You guys knew each other, you know, the segment before. Did you know the stilt walker that was here earlier? She was
Beth?
Beth.
Yeah,
She
she's
was here.
awesome.
Did you get to see her? Y'all
I think we might have crossed paths on the way out. I've seen her, the costuming and stills she makes are fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to check her out this week. She's at Iroquois Park. So,
Nice.
All right, Artemisia.
Yes.
Father Sin. Good God.
Hi.
They are here in costume as well. This is a nice visual, guys. Look at it. The Bizarre Bazaar's All Hallows Eve celebration. 2 shows coming up. They're going to be promoting the shows. I'm going to let them share the info on those. But this is burlesque, drag, sideshow, flow arts, fire acts. So you can do fire at these locations.
We can do fire this Saturday at the Mammoth.
The Mammoth.
We are
But-
not doing fire on Halloween night at Zanzibar. So it's 2 very different shows.
2 different shows, and we're going to get into each show. We're going to get into your characters. And
Sure.
who you are. We'll start with you.
Sure.
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
You just
Thanks for having us.
What is up with you? Tell me about you.
Now, you were talking about the costume or just in general?
Both.
I've been doing performance all my life, mostly theater, and then back in 2011, started getting into drag and sideshow, and then eventually burlesque as well. And then I also perform as a fire performer on a weekly basis, which is why my arms are now burned
I got
to
the
shreds.
I got the heads up about your fire acts. So,
Yeah. So I do kind of it all. I consider myself a vaudevillian, so grinder arts, sideshow, fire, burlesque, and drag. And our collective is very much based around the idea of like all the elements that we love in vaudeville and variety shows together. And a lot of the performers in the Bizarre Bazaar are kind of like anomalies in their field, and so they fit really well in this because it's a very like eccentric, punk, queer, loud vaudeville show.
Right.
So we set up this will be our 3rd Halloween. The past 2 we've done at the Cure Lounge and at Galaxy. And this year, rest in peace, Cure Lounge. We're doing we're doing it Saturday at the Mammoth, which is a downtown venue. It's an urban forest, actually, on 13th and Broadway. It's 744 South 13th Street. It's a massive artist collective space. The woods are lit up with like tiki torches and lights and fire pits, and it's got.
So this is outdoor?
It is.
Very much so.
Saturday is outdoor.
Yeah. Wow.
And we encourage people to bring blankets if they'd like. But we'll have fires going. We'll have heaters going. We're actually just down there this evening setting up some more things and making it all nice and toasty. We've got a food truck. We've got people selling chili. We're going to have hot cider and cocoa. And
Pumpkin carving.
Pumpkin carving. As soon as people get there, basically doors are at 6. So from 6 to about 9, we have jack-o'-lantern carving. So we'll have a limited amount of pumpkins, and people can bring their own pumpkin if they'd like. The pumpkins are for sale for like a sliding scale donation. And then when the show begins at 10, pumpkins will go away, and then the event begins. And the Mammoth has 2 huge stages, one in the front, which is kind of like an open space.
So we
and
will
then
be performing in the backstage where you're basically surrounded by this urban forest. It's an excellent venue to come and see, because you're surrounded, you have this just mixture of like old, like run-down warehouses, but at the same time you're in this very, very green area in the middle of downtown, and it just takes you off guard. It's absolutely wonderful.
It does. You definitely don't feel like you're downtown.
No,
it takes you.
That's why it's so
It's
strange.
another world. Yeah, I like that.
We've done a few shows there for the past year, and every time people are amazed at how good it is to like, sit on the lawn and see a show under the stars and
Right.
bring their food and bring
It
their
is,
drinks.
yeah, definitely.
But people also really like that they're basically transported out of the city.
It takes you into a different world, almost
Right.
a different realm, and then you're put into this weird show, and it messes with your senses, and it's just absolutely wonderful.
And actually, if you're looking at the page right now, and for any of your viewers that are listening in, if you go to the Bizarre Bazaar All Hallows Eve celebration, you'll see the photos of the venue and what
Okay.
it currently looks like.
Very good.
It's a very different space.
I'm looking at this. I just saw at the intermission.
Oh,
goodness.
Okay.
Well, before that, there's a costume Let's talk about that costume contest real quick.
We'll have costume contests at both of our shows.
Okay.
We've got these big golden bone trophies.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Very, very unique trophies. A great conversation piece if you put it on your mantle. If you win it, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it's a stiff competition.
Of course,
Yeah.
as always. But I think this year we'll have the sexiest costume, weirdest costume, and best overall. And we'll have bone trophies for each. And I'm also making some very grinder-like trophies. So basically, I'm taking some pieces of steel, welding them to a plate, and just grinding the heck
I
out
like
of it.
it.
So
That's
it's
awesome.
very, very meta, very metal as well.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So at intermission, if I'm reading this right, blood wrestling.
Okay, so Alex was there last year for it. We've done it for 3 years. And this will be the third year. And the blood wrestling intermission is its own show in and of itself.
So basically, how we do blood wrestling is we take. Last year was
no sacrificing.
No sacrificing.
Animals
Unfortunately,
or anything.
No, we can't actually tell you what the blood mix is.
Okay.
I just can tell you there's not a lot of live things in it. Other than the wrestlers, not a lot.
But basically, last year's show, we did it at the Cure Lounge, rest in peace.
Yeah.
We took 2 mattresses and just basically just ratchet strapped them together, had some tarps on top, and threw a bunch of blood in. We had this basically like a WWE style ring just put together.
Right.
And we had
got-
several of our blood wrestlers just go in and just go ham. So
It's
we
a
had
madhouse.
So
It is.
basically they're just wrestling in it.
Yeah.
wrestling and
But-
blood.
But
We also-
that's always a great
So-
segue. But
Each of the blood wrestlers has created these WWE-esque wrestling personas. So there's Vampax the Vampire. There's Golden Fury. There's going to be Becky with the good hair.
And Spooky. We cannot
And
forget Spooky,
who is
current-
returning to
the current
defend her
reigning
belt.
champion of
Yeah.
blood wrestling for 2 years running now.
It's really fun. And then we sell little blood bags to the audience that they can puncture and spray blood on the performers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for real?
For real.
Yeah.
And you wait a minute, you did this at the Cure Lounge.
Outside.
Oh, outside.
Yeah, it was not
I
indoors.
was gonna say.
It was not indoors. It's our intermission show, so the audience will go to the blood wrestling, have a smoke, have a drink, enjoy the blood wrestling, and then people come in for the second half of the show.
And this year at the Mammoth, we will be doing blood wrestling at the Mammoth, not at Zanzibar this year.
Right.
So when we do it
So
at
the
the
blood
Mammoth,
wrestling is only on Saturday.
only on Saturday. If you come
because
to
it
see a
needs
show,
to be outdoors.
Yeah.
of course.
It's very, very
So
nice.
if you come to see a show, I would recommend come for the blood wrestling on the 27th. Come for the burlesque and the show on the 31st.
Because they're both two very different. So
Right.
both events are going to have drag kings, drag queens,
Right.
burlesque dancers, belly dancers, boylesque performers, grinder performers, sideshow performers, clowns, escape artists. We've got people from all over the region coming in for this because it's our big bash.
Mm-hmm.
This is arguably one of our biggest shows of the year and has
It
been for
is.
the past 3
Yeah,
years.
it is.
So we've got people coming in from all over, and they're two very different shows. So
Right.
as much as the blood wrestling and the outdoor show is gonna be a focus for Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
for actual Halloween night, we have a much more extensive performer show.
Right.
All right. Nice segue. Halloween night at Zanzibar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me go back to the Mammoth. That's the actual performance starts at 10
Yes,
till about
12.
it'll be done by 12.
okay 12. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So 2, which sounds like 2 full hours. of
It is.
some
Oh, 2 jam-packed hours of action, fire, blood, and
Badass,
some
man.
explosives.
Yeah, and a lot of blasphemy.
And a lot
Oh,
of,
definitely.
and probably some, still people in blood and I mean,
Of course.
good God.
Of course.
I don't know. The idea of me coming home and taking a shower and watching all this blood.
Oh no, you won't be involved. We already have our blood wrestlers. That is one thing we mentioned.
No, I meant just because
the
you're
audience
around
is
it.
not involved.
No, but they can hold
the audience can spray them. Yeah.
But there is that chance you might get.
Of course, I mean you might get you're a ringside seat. So
I just
there's a chance you might get.
I wouldn't recommend jumping in yourself.
No.
Like these people are going to be really slippery. So
how many? Is it like how many matches are wrestling? Is it just 2 people?
So basically, we have 4 wrestlers this year, and we have
we've got
4.
Spooky, Becky, Golden, Vampax,
and Vampax,
and we've got a manager who's going to jump.
Oh, the unknown manager! If you want to see it, come to the 27th. If you want to know who this mystery manager is,
It's just going to be something else.
So that sounds like a fun night.
Yeah.
But a totally different night, Halloween night, Zanzibar, which is at 2100 South Preston. Doors at 6, show at 9.
And it is an 18 and up show, which
Both
is
of the shows are.
Actually, I'm seeing both shows.
Both shows are 18 and up.
It may be
and there is a cost. Let me go. There's a $5 cost or more because it's for the performers.
Right. All the money goes to performers, and we highly recommend, especially for people who haven't been to a burlesque or drag show before, to bring tips because part of it is like your interaction and you showing that you appreciate the show.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to keep costs low to make it accessible to as many people as we can, so that folks can enjoy it and money is not an issue.
Right. Of course.
But we'd also like that people tip the performers as well.
Absolutely. Doors open at 6, so tell me what's going on between 6 and 9.
Out on the patio at Zanzibar, and they've been so wonderful, and so they're letting us do pumpkin carving from 6 to 8 out on the patio. So for people who get there early, there will be tables set up in the back.
Right.
People can have their smoke, they can have a drink, and carve a pumpkin.
Very good.
Have something to walk away with at the end of the night.
Of course.
No blood.
Not there.
Unfortunately not.
I mean, if
It's
there's
way too
blood, it'd be
messy.
real blood.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Of course.
Well, give us what separates, what's so different about Halloween night at Zanzibar versus
The Halloween night at Zanzibar, I feel like because it is Halloween night, we expect a lot of people in costume. So when you come to Zanzibar, come in costume. We will have a costume contest at intermission. We'll be giving out another set of bone trophies, even better than the 27th. And we'll be awarding the sexiest, the best overall, and weirdest are 3 trophies.
Yeah.
And so, excuse me. So yeah, definitely come in costume, be ready, and then just enjoy the show. But on the 31st, it's a lot more burlesque, a lot more.
It's the whole crew.
Of course, yeah.
So basically, on Saturday, because of the blood wrestling taking up a good chunk of the show, it's a smaller production. But Halloween night is everyone. Halloween night, everyone comes on out for
no
it.
Fire again.
No fire at Zanzibar, unfortunately.
No. So the fire performers.
Your skit that night or your performance?
Oh no! I do everything else.
We have acts.
You do everything.
We have acts.
Yeah.
What is? All right, let's go to you. I would tell us a little bit about what kind of performance show that you put on. Can you elaborate any? Or
Personally, or the ones that I try to orchestrate?
Both. Go both. Because you're running this thing. You are running.
That's right. So Camila is. I mean, Artemisia is the head honcho of the Bizarre Bazaar.
Right.
You're so sweet.
So, elaborate on really your role and what are you trying to accomplish with these 2 nights?
I mean, Halloween is a special time, and I think, like, for me in particular, last year was really rough, and so this year I'm excited to be with people that I really care about and people that I trust and put together a show that we're all really pumped on, and people have spent months putting these acts together, so, like, I'm kind of the fixer that pulls a lot of it together at the end, but each performer I've worked with in many different contexts, and we've gone through a lot together, the highs and lows, and we're a really solid crew, and on Halloween night we're just gonna show all that off.
And we come together when we make magic.
Oh yes, the shows end up being damn magic, and everyone brings their own spice to it, and what's nice is, like, even though we are a collective and a troupe, each performer and their individuality and their own creativity is stressed throughout the entire production.
Right. Of course.
So, and everyone is incredibly supportive, which is really cool. And like with each performer, they bring something different to the table. So we've got everything from Oogie Boogie drag to Jason Voorhees strip teases to blade axe to
Buffalo Bill
street
burlesque. Oh my goodness.
striptease. It's gonna be so good.
That's gonna be fantastic.
Like just the past like month of doing rehearsals and meetings and set everything up, the acts are just getting better and better, and like we're just like tingling now to see it all like in fruition
to happen. Right?
Yeah.
How long has preparation and stuff for these?
We've been preparing for about 2 months now. I'd say like hardcore preparing. A lot of the performers that come together do different other side acts. So they come together, they have their act together, and they're like, okay, this is what I want to present.
Right.
And so what my role is in the collective is I basically do tech and also perform at the same time. So I have a background of 3 to 4 years, 3.5 years in professional theater. And so I came into the collective last year and helped put together the technical aspects, the staging aspects,
Her
lighting.
Her right hand.
Basically, yeah. And so we've been fortunate enough to have all our acts come together and have a great group of talented performers to come together and give their talent and strut their stuff and show what they have.
How many people are involved talent-wise?
It's different for, well, the entire production is going to be 20 people. Actually 25 if we can count the wrestlers as well. So 25 people in the whole production. I think we've got 3 people joining us from outside the city just for this Saturday. So we have Stinky Pete, who's a clown and escape artist and fire performer from Lexington, coming for Saturday. And we have 2 fire performers from Atlanta, Georgia.
Really?
Their names are Ziggy Starshine and Staves, and incredible fire performers. And they're just coming for Saturday. So, but our whole crew, I would say like 25 people are involved in the production. You know, it's a big old thing.
Burlesque is really starting to happen in town. I know.
There's like 10 troops.
Yeah. Isn't the Burlesque Society, am I saying that right? Is that something based out of Lexington? That right?
The Kentucky Burlesque Society is based out of Lexington, yes. So. And they used to host the Burlexpo, which was like a statewide showcase of burlesque dancers.
I remember some of them came up here at the Cure Lounge. One of the first times I got to see it.
I remember that. I was at that show.
With the ass hollers.
Yeah, I was over there.
That was, to me, so badass to have a rock or a heavy rock band playing with you guys.
That was fun.
And good stuff.
The Cure Lounge holds a special place in a lot of our hearts.
Yeah.
I've never really heard this story. Why did they close?
Oh, goodness.
That's not really our discussion to have.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Things change, and unfortunately, as people that did shows in the venue,
but there was more than that.
There was some, and I will say this: there's not a lot we can tell, but there was internal politics going on, and that's all I can say.
That's always.
It was not our bar, and it's not really our place to talk.
Fair enough. Okay. So obviously you're covered with these Halloween themed shows. What's next? What's down the road?
Oh boy.
Can you say?
This is you.
Yeah. Okay, I can say a few other things that the Bizarre Bazaar has planned. On Saturday, December 1st.
Staying this year. Okay.
We are doing an end of the world dystopian future show at the Butchertown Social. And all of the acts are
Do you know something that we don't know when it comes to the end of the world? I mean
it's not going to happen that day.
Okay, all right, fine.
We're going to have our show that day. It can happen the next day.
But we're going to get our show in first. All right.
We have drag, burlesque, and sideshow performers all doing their own interpretations of the end of the world. So everything from Trump drag to Charlie Chaplin doing the dictator drag. We've got mutated burlesque dancers. We've got road warrior sideshow acts. So we've got a tank girl burlesque number. That's going to be, it's a smaller show because we don't have the, it's not like we're doing it at 2 spaces the way we're doing with Halloween. So
You have
this
the
is,
location yet?
yeah, it's at the Butchertown Social.
Okay.
And that is one that is very specific. It is specifically an end of the world nuclear winter show. And we're having people as the costume contest for it. People can come as their best road warrior or post-apocalyptic character.
I honestly prefer the second one, so if they can come in like just
If
gay
you-
bondage gear, that would be excellent.
That's the plan. We really just want people to come in bondage gear. Like, we say end of the world show. What we mean is come in bondage gear so we can see it.
Okay. Yeah. Say what you mean what you say here.
Right.
Of course.
So we got that one on December 1st. We've got the first Sunday of every month at Kaiju. We run a brunch series there.
Really?
So it's like a daytime vaudeville show. Back in the 1910s to the 1930s, Louisville used to be a hub for vaudeville. And most of
know
those...
that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was one of the big places in the region for
Did
it.
you know that? I know.
But it tended to be a daytime show. So people would come in and it'd be like their escapism.
Like for lunch? that kind
Oh,
of thing?
totally, yeah.
Where
So,
is this at?
At Kaiju,
Okay.
which
And this is weekly?
No, it's the first Sunday of every month.
Oh, first. Okay, just all right.
So like
Monthly.
Yeah.
Brunch, yeah.
Okay.
it's called Brunch Lesk of Kaiju. So it is one of like our sister programs.
Gotcha.
And it's really nice. It's a day show. People can get mimosas and Irish coffees and Japanese brunch, and then they see this awesome day show. And
Entertainment. Right?
yeah,
There's
the
a
next
food truck outside of Kaiju that serves excellent food. And basically, you get your food, you get your drink, you come in, you see a burlesque show like Sunday at 1 o'clock, and it's fantastic.
And it's fun. We use it too to also like promote other groups in town. So because we really love doing collaborations. Our group performs with bands. We bring in out of town performers. We host a lot of folks. We do a lot of like interactive projects that tend to like pull in the audience. So for the next Brunch Lesk show that we have on November 4th, we're just going to be day drinking, and the Louisville Championship Arm Wrestling is going to take over that show.
Yes.
So we've got
The wrestling thing is a theme so far.
that was very
Recurring thing.
coincidental that
Really?
it happened in the same week.
Yeah.
Basically, you get to come out and see a bunch of burly, I'll just say burly, muscular men arm wrestle.
They're
and
not men. There's like one dude.
For real?
Yeah.
What? This is news to me.
Well, there's a couple dudes, but not all of them are going to be there that day. So it's a very like gender balanced group.
Oh,
but
excellent.
LCAW is awesome. They're hilarious. They're all like comedians and character actors. And so they create this big like WWE bravado and persona, and they all just like go at it, and it's so much fun. And they come in, they're like juggalos, they're like people in gimp masks, like it's like the craziest theater you've ever seen, and I love it. And so we're collaborating on one of the brunch shows, so they're going to take over Kaiju by day, basically.
Right.
Kaiju is 1000 East Oak Street, and yeah, the first Sunday of every month we do a show there. So in November it will be the Louisville Championship Arm Wrestling. First Sunday in December it will be a Curvy and BBW Girls holiday burlesque show. For the first one in January, we're bringing 3 beautiful, outstanding performers from Ohio that are going to be doing that show. Incredible classic burlesque dancers.
These are your shows. You run the show.
This is one of them, yeah.
This is one.
I
of
run 4 series.
Gotcha.
I run the Bizarre Bazaar.
All right.
Myself and my friend co-run Fire Church, which is a monthly fire showcase. I run Brunch Lesk of Kaiju along with some buddies, and that is also the first Sunday of the month at Kaiju. And then I also run or co-run the seasonal shimmy series at the Butchertown Social, which is usually a very specific show. Like we just did a Tim Burton show like almost 2 weeks ago, and it was fantastic. The performers,
I'm sure they looked
killed it.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone killed it. The room, we couldn't fit anybody else in the
Really?
room. Like people had to stand around the windows to watch more because it was just so
Really?
packed.
Oh, good.
It
Good
was
for you.
incredible. And the performers all loved it. And we can't wait to go back there on December 1st. Like
So first Sunday of every month.
first Sunday of every month is at Kaiju is our day show. And if people want to go on Brunchlesque of Kaiju, our Facebook page, they can see all the events listed there.
Okay. Well,
like in December, for instance, we're bringing a sideshow for brunch, basically.
okay.
You know.
Very cool. Sounds like you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, often.
You make it work.
Yeah.
You definitely make it work through the chaos. But yeah.
Because everyone in the crew is super solid and everyone knows what to do. And like we all just like jump into it.
Very good.
It's not like a top-down thing. Like we try to, everyone puts in what they can, and that's why it is a collective.
Turns into beautiful, organized chaos.
Oh,
How I
it's-
describe
That's
That's
a good
great.
one. Very
It's so much fun when it
cool.
works. It's so much fun.
The shows that I've gone to, they're so entertaining. Talent, very talented. And you know, and I was telling the segment before you guys how athletic some of you people have to be to pull off some of the shit y'all do.
It just means a lot of stretching before and a lot of Tylenol after.
Probably, yeah.
A long soak, like an
Well
Epsom
put.
bath.
Very well put.
Oh man, probably can't see it on the screen, but
Oh goodness.
my knees are still banged up from yeah.
Yeah.
We did our last fire church at the Mammoth, which was the first Sunday of the month, and it was like a big blasphemous hellfire and brimstone service. We had tons of incredible fire performers, and we had a metal band come up from Tennessee, and I fell off the stage.
Atta girl. Atta girl.
And like busted my knees.
Not by design.
No, it was really funny though, because everybody's like, "Oh, that blood looks so convincing," and I'm like,
Yeah, sure.
"It
We'll go with
definitely
that.
does."
We'll go with that.
Like, whoops.
I meant to do that.
Oh, totally. I totally meant to fall off the stage. Whatever, shit happens.
Tell us social media. Where can everyone connect with you guys?
So we have a lot of us. Yeah, Facebook page. We have a Facebook page for the 27th event and a Facebook page for the 31st event. And at the same time, we'll be doing flyers around U of L. I'll be handing out flyers at U of L. We'll be putting up flyers at different places along Bardstown, along several other
There's a bunch out.
Oh yeah, there's flyers out there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to go to the Bizarre, Bizarre, Bazaar, Bazaar, basically means the strange collection. And they can see all of our events listed there, including the End of the World show, the Halloween shows, you name it.
Look at you. Father.
Hello.
This is
Hi, guys.
like my other daughter and one of my daughters, and that's entertainment.
Hi, daughter. Camila, nice
I'm Alex.
to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you.
Birthday girl.
Happy birthday!
Hey!
How old are you?
Oh, wonderful age.
It's the best year.
Great segment, guys. You know what? I want to talk to you because I want to come out and do some live streaming at one of your all's events.
Of course, we'd love
I
it.
starting to do that with different events where I come and do some live streaming on Facebook, like pre-show.
Okay.
Red carpet style.
Of course.
So there you go. But all about promoting.
Yeah,
you know,
we can talk about it. Totally.
Be fun.
Right.
Good stuff. Good segment. Good luck.
Do you have any questions you have about anything else before we go?
I think I'm covered for the next.
You don't want to ask me about his character? Because he's emceeing like half the show.
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't. Go ahead.
Oh goodness! So basically, I have a background in professional theater, so technical theater. So I rarely ever step on stage. This will be my first show I'm performing.
This is
at.
your debut.
This is my debut show. Yes, it is.
He's been doing this a year now, and he finally gets to do it.
I am popping my cherry on the 27th. I will be emceeing both the beginning of the show and blood wrestling.
MC, okay.
So basically, I'll be master of ceremonies. I'll be introducing characters. I'll be introducing the blood wrestling, and then I will also be doing a boylesque performance in which you definitely want to see. It will be very. I don't know how to put a pun for this, but it'll be very dirty, rubbery. I don't even know.
Wow. Rubbery.
Oh yeah.
He'll be doing a duet with the other MC, Trashly Whiskers, and it's incredibly hot. We ran through it last night
It's
at rehearsal.
incredibly hot.
Whoa!
Was that who was supposed to be here
No,
okay.
Lumen, another fire performer, was going to come,
yeah,
but
dang.
she was having some issues, so couldn't come tonight, unfortunately.
I think I did hear you did mention Trashley or something.
Yeah, so Trashley will be co-emceeing with me, and she is a very experienced performer. She's been doing, she's been with the Bizarre Bazaar for several years now. Very talented performer, very great stage kitten, and excellent technical performer as well. And so, what we will be doing is basically a performance of...
Oh, you don't have to describe it. I wouldn't even.
I don't know. It's going to be very sacrilegious. It'll be great, well choreographed, and I will be stripping. So that is all I have. That is all I have to say for that. Oh my goodness! I was about to say, can I mention this bourbon ball bourbon? This
Yeah, are these guys sponsoring us or something?
They were my first segment. The co-owner of Ballotin came in and left me some goodies.
I'm a bit of a bourbon snob, and I absolutely love this stuff.
Have you tried that?
It's
bourbon?
good.
It's flavored. Yeah, you have to try that.
It really does taste like candy.
It is. Yeah.
It's sweet. It'll get you, but my goodness. Like, I usually drink Old Forester and some other stuff, but that is...
So does my boo.
Oh, goodness, that man. But no, this stuff is absolutely delicious. So shout out to Ballotin.
Yeah, so good stuff. All right, again, we got the show Saturday, October 27th at the Mammoth. I love Mammoth
at 13th and Broadway.
Yeah, and Halloween night.
At Zanzibar.
At Z-Bar.
So
2100 South Preston.
And both of those shows are 18 up, especially
Yeah,
at Z-Bar.
18,
We're
right.
promoting that because there's a lot of U of L students I've talked to who've been like, oh, we can't.
It's one of the few things that are below 21 for that night. So.
Excellent. So
That's
if you
a
want to
good
come
point.
out and you have a good time, want to have a good time on Wednesday night on the 31st, come to Z-Bar. It is an 18 up show.
That's a gift. Yeah, definitely. 2 shows coming up, man. It's, sounds like fun nights.
Come and check it out.
Blood wrestling. I'm gonna have to stop. that blood this Saturday.
It is this Saturday.
Yes.
The final countdown.
It's gonna be so good.
Counting down to the apocalyptic show.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we're gonna stay in touch with that.
That one is so dark.
I can imagine.
And so satirical. And it's what we really like about our seasonal shimmy series at the Butch Social is it's very interactive. The audience is always involved. We always try to break that fourth wall and bring them into it.
Right.
So with our end of the world show, and with hopefully everybody showing up as road warriors, we have a lot planned for that avenue. So it's going to be a very interesting.
What's the date on that one?
December 1st.
Okay.
Yes. And we'll have a couple different groups also tabling for the event. We have a few artists that want to sell like end of the world art. So that'll be really cool. We also have art vendors that are selling at both of our Halloween shows. I should probably mention that.
Definitely.
Go for it.
So we have a few art vendors for both the Halloween shows. There is going to be food and hot drinks at both of the shows and drink specials at Z-Bar on Halloween night. And our DJ, Art Chambers, is going to be DJing both nights, and he's fantastic.
Very talented DJ.
Yeah.
Very talented.
So.
I've heard him before, and it is absolutely a baller mix.
So he's gonna take over once we end our weird rambunctiousness on stage.
So the entertainment does continue
Until the bar closes.
Until the bar closes at, I think, 2 o'clock on Wednesday. So after the show, there will be dance, music, fog, lights, all that jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely stay to party.
Fog machine is in full use that night.
Very much so. Very
And
much.
strobe lights, like
Strobe lights, fog machine, like you name it, it'll be there.
and towels for all the blood.
Not on the 31st, but on the 27th, yes.
Oh, we've got FX blood for that.
Oh, goodness.
We'll talk.
Oh, Lord.
Artemisia, Father Sin. Thanks for coming out and
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us on here.
Good luck
Salud.
and
Salud.
Oh, you never say good luck to a performer.
Break a leg is the term we prefer.
It's theater, huh?
okay, you're right.
Or you can use the Polish saying, which is "May you be eaten by wolves."
That's a little dark. I prefer break a leg.
Okay, break a leg, which is also dark.
Oh, but you've kind of.
I'd rather break a leg than be.
What
eaten by
is
wolves.
this? What are you?
Okay, goodness. We have to talk about the costume.
Yeah, real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, so on Sunday I performed in Lexington, and I did an act for my partner, and it was a werewolf striptease, and that's what part of this is for.
Yeah.
And I had like 6 furry nipples, and like
because werewolves have 6.
They do.
Exactly.
No one's ever asked a werewolf, okay? And it was really funny, and it was like a great show. It was so much fun. One of my friends in Lexington runs a monthly series called Quiet Time with Stinky Pete, and it's
is that Stinky Pete's series? I have seen him do escape acts before. He is a pleasure to watch.
It's so good.
Is Rex down? Do you know Rex? Never mind.
No, I don't think so.
All right, never mind. All right.
Lexington based or Louisville based?
Lexington.
No, I don't think so.
All right. All good.
Stinky Pete runs a once-a-month series at Al's Bar in Lexington, and they were having their Halloween edition last night, or Sunday night, and so they asked me to do it, and I did a werewolf striptease, and that's what this costume is from, minus all the furry nipples. You know, I only wear those for shows.
That would have made a great visual for her.
I probably got them in my bag.
Yeah.
I'd have to check my bag for it.
Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having
Thanks for having us.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you so much for
We're going
having
to do
us.
it again.
We'll see you
because,
soon.
Yeah, definitely. That whole blood thing is.
Come to the 27th, man. It'll be a show. It'll be a show for the ages.
Let me just say this. The music for the blood wrestling cracks me up.
Oh,
Because
it'll be...
the music for the blood wrestling is like Taylor Swift, Slayer, Metalocalypse, and fucking... I'm not even going to say the other one because it makes me laugh too much. So, like, just the soundtrack for that is just cracking me up.
The blood wrestling in itself is not like action packed. It is very much a satirical comedic act in itself.
It's very much theater.
Very much theater.
So it's even more scripted than.
Oh no, the blood wrestling.
Oh no, it goes.
Well,
there is a script, but it goes all out.
Okay.
Like, so the way we've done it the past 2 years, just like performers.
Do you know?
Okay, I shouldn't say anything.
Do you know who the winner, like WWE?
We can't say anything. We can't say anything.
But we will say that we have spent a week of rehearsals and practices in blood wrestling alone. So it is very much scripted. There'll be some impromptu moments, but at the same time, it is very scripted. And I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I have seen in a long time. So we'll leave it at that.
And if audience wants to get involved, there is one part where they can all vape heavily.
But they also have the blood.
We have blood bags to sell.
We will have blood bags for $5 a piece. People can puncture them and spray the performers.
On that note, guys, thanks for coming out.
For sure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for having
having
us.
You've been a great host.